Kia ora, welcome to Wellington and the 20th anniversary edition of the Team Leisure Harcourt's Capital Classic, where we showcase the skills of domestic and international athletes. Over the last fortnight we've had two magnificent meetings in Hastings and in Wanganui, and now we convene here at Newtown Park. You might be able to tell from the pictures that we've got a blustery, northerly and overcast conditions. It's not ideal, and it has caused a few problems already, with some athletes unable to land in Wellington and officials also. But we're hoping that they can, and also hoping that the wind will abate as the program unfolds. But still so much to look forward to. We have the men's and women's New Zealand 3,000 metre national championships to be decided here tonight. And in the men's, Sam Tanner, who won the title in 2021, will look to add this to his mile title that he won at Cook's Gardens last Saturday. Up against them, Julian Oakley, who has won the last two 3,000 metre national championships, and also Hayden Wild, the bronze medalist at the Olympics in the triathlon. They're all training partners, but they'll be fierce rivals on the track tonight. In the field, Tori Peters, we're looking forward to her first domestic appearance of the season in the javelin. The New Zealand record holder, she had a wonderful 2023, which culminated in her on the podium at the Diamond League final in Oregon, and she will be throwing in an international field with two Japanese competitors, French woman and also one from Australia. Let's check out the program for the 20th edition of the Team Leisure Harcourt's Capital Classic. So a pleasure to be here once again for this edition of the Team Leisure Harcourt's Capital Classic. Mark Mozanowski alongside me is Reese Buck and also Kenny O'Hagan. Reese, not the conditions we were hoping for, nonetheless in your wheelhouse, some excellent miles, 3,000 metres coming a little later on, and 800 metres.
Yeah, look, certainly the athletes won't be excited to get out on the track for the conditions, but certainly for the distance races out on the track, it'll create a different situation there for the athletes to have to run, maybe a little bit more tactics. Unfortunately for the field events, the weather plays a huge big part.
Kenny O'Hagan is with us, a national high jump champion, Commonwealth Games representative, and fourth equal of all time with 1.89 metre. Kelly not able to compete tonight, but the good luck for us, Kelly, is that you're with us in the commentary. The high jump has started for the women. You would have been out there. The conditions, how would you describe them?
Yes, hello, and thanks for having me. It's not that great out there. I was standing down there a bit before, and you know, there's a bit of a crosswind at times, and it just gets quite cold out there. I think for any field event, especially when you don't have any cover, it just gets pretty chilly out there, and so the mixture of the rain and the wind can just make it a little bit more challenging for the people out there.
Currently at 1.76 metre, Imogen Skelton is clear at that. Maddie Wilson, Naomi Waite, the other competitors still alive. They have one more attempt at 1.76 metre. Back to that shortly. Reese, looking through, we've just had a relay on the track. The men's and women's under 20 miles coming up shortly. And then the hurdles, we hope, because there may be some changes because of the conditions at the moment. The pole vault is suspended for now, and they'll make a decision on that probably in about an hour, if not before. Working through, we have the women's shot put, the men's high jump, Keely, which has a couple of very, very good Australian jumpers, including one who's jumped 2.33 metres, and Joel Baden.
Yes, it's pretty lucky to have them coming over here. We have had a couple of Aussies over this way for the Capital Classic in the past. We've had Eleanor, who came over, and Nicola at different times, so it's pretty cool to see some of the guys pop over as well.
And the men's and women's 200 just after 7 o'clock. Hopefully conditions will be okay for the women's pole vault around the 7:15. Men's triple jump, the women's triple jumps in action right at the moment. The 100 metres elite at 7:35 for men and women. Got a 3,000 metre B race at 7:45. Nick Palmer will be looking to build on his impressive start to the season at 8 o'clock in the men's shot. And then Reece, the women's and men's 3,000 metre New Zealand Championships, looking forward to particularly the men's race between the training partners, Sam and Hayden and Julian.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a cracker race there in the men's race. Great to see Hayden Wild back on the track. Be interesting to see whether he can run tonight with Sam and Julian out the front. But yeah, really excited to watch that, and the women's 3,000 as well. Good competitive racing for those medals tonight.
Certainly is. We've got a couple of things in action at the moment. The women's triple jump is happening in the back at the moment, and Desley Owusu of Australia is currently doing that at 12:87. But down on the apron, Keely, what sort of problems present with the pooling of the water that we've got there for the jumpers?
Well, I think that the officials did just give it a bit of a wipe away before, so just for safety reasons so that the athletes don't slip. But this is Naomi's last attempt, and it would be a PB height, so she's definitely probably feeling, feeling the nerves of that potentially, and also then it's just hard to sometimes really commit in these conditions. But they've done a great job so far, and hopefully she's able to push on and get through over this height.
So Naomi Waite, third and final attempt at 1:76.
Oh, not a bad attempt. She definitely, it does play with your head a little bit when you do a run through, and then you're on the clock and you have to come back and reset to be able to do another run-up attempt. And so, it's pretty harsh conditions out there. And she did PB last week at the Cooks Classic, so I know she'll be disappointed with today. But at the same time, if you're attempting a PB height like she is at the moment, then you're right up in the upper echelons of your territory, so you can't really go wrong.
She's a youth national
and this
champion.
is Maddie Wilson on her final attempt there. She also had a 180 jump in Jumps to Music last week, and I know that she'll be trying to stay warm because she's heading on to a couple of other events shortly.
Yes, Maddie proficient across a number of disciplines, and that leaves Imogen Skelton with the win at 1:76. And Kelly, in these conditions, would you consider just pulling pin there, or look to push it to 180?
Well, the weather has calmed down a little bit. We don't have a downpour like we did before, and it's like any event. You go there to compete, and so unless it gets really dangerous or you've got a niggle or something like that, you're probably going to push through. If it continued to have the heavy downpour that we saw a little bit earlier, then it might be worth kind of pulling it. But I think that Imogen's a bit of a fighter. She's got a bit of a tough streak in her, so I know that she'll be wanting to jump over this next height now.
So with you, Keely, last week you were all set to jump in Wanganui and pulled out late in the piece. So what was the issue, and how are you placed now?
Yeah, so I have just a little bit of what we initially thought was an upper hammy niggle, nothing major, really minor, but just got irritated. So I did do a full warm-up, and it wasn't until I got to the high jump pan that I was like, it's not quite ready. And the same thing this week, it's on an upward trajectory. I've got a few bigger comps to fry in the next few weeks, and so I just really wanted to have it fully settled before I can get going.
Where will you be heading?
I'm heading off to Melbourne on the 15th of February, so that's it's a gold meet, and it will be a pretty good one. Last year was incredible, so I can imagine that this year's going to be just the same.
Desley Owusu, Australian champion at the triple jump, is currently leading. She was 6th in the World University Games, and 12:87 in the second round for her, leading Hannah Collins as we look to that continuing in the back straight while we await the bar to go to 180 at the high jump. As mentioned earlier with the pole vault, and we're looking forward to Charlie Myers from England up against James Stein, but that has been postponed. Hopefully, might be in action shortly. Reece Buck, looking like we're getting ready for the men's under 20 mile with a field of 5.
Yeah, small field. I know we do have a couple of juniors that have decided to step up and run the 3,000 tonight. We have 2 large fields for the men's 3,000. So yeah, that kind of accounts for that. And also we're coming off of some wonderful miles last week at Cook's Classic, which did double as the New Zealand Mile Champs. It was an opportunity for a lot of our top juniors to actually step up and compete against Sam Tanner and the like over a mile. And so I think a few of them, they're done with their mile for the week, and we've ended up with a little bit of a smaller field here, but a bunch of local athletes, and yeah, it was good competition. I think with this wind, we might see a little bit of interesting race tactics. Indeed.
The Mile Championships last week, what did you make of them? Obviously in the women's, an outstanding tussle between Rebecca Aikenhead and Laura Nagel.
Yeah, look, it was awesome to see a battle all the way to the line like that, especially 2 quite different athletes. They run quite different tactics in a race like that. So no, exciting to watch 2 top New Zealand athletes battle all the way to the line for that national title.
And Sam Tanner always looked comfortable up against Callum Davies defending his title?
Yeah, look, when Sam's in the form that he's in, they've got to be pretty good to be able to beat him. And look, coming down that last couple of 100 metres, he just looks brilliant when he's running. Be great to see him out there tonight as well. We know he's in good form. Not sure quite how fast he's going to try and run tonight, but maybe he might pull a couple of boys through for some good times.
Reece, you've got experience as the men's under 20 mile gets underway. You've got experience in and around those distances, and I'm wondering about the fact that Sam pace-made for James Preston's very fast 800 metres a fortnight ago. He was the pacemaker for the first 600 metres, and then obviously won the mile championship last week, and he steps to the 3,000. How easy is it to back up?
Look, I think for an athlete like Sam, he does do some reasonable mileage. I don't think he'll have too much of a problem. When he's in Europe and when he gets to the major competitions, the expectation is they're racing 4, 5, 6, sometimes those races over maybe a couple of week periods. So look, the competition level in New Zealand at the moment means that he's racing at a level that's comfortable for him. He's not getting pushed too hard, and therefore I think the crossover between, like you said, the 800, the mile, now up to the 3K, it's a little bit of a different stimulus on the body for each of those races. But I think he'll be going in there knowing what the purpose is for racing in New Zealand in the domestic season at this stage of the year, coming into the Olympics. He'll just be hoping to come out of it healthy, having a good race, and maybe, I think he's a pretty selfless guy. I think he'd be pretty happy to be able to drag some athletes through for some good times as well. So
looking forward to Sam Tanner later in the 3,000 metres national championship, under 20 mile on the track. And while we were talking there, Keely, Imogen Skelton had her first attempt there at 1 metre 80. What did you make of that?
Yeah, it wasn't a bad attempt. I did see her beforehand. She had was talking to the officials, trying to get the wet water out of the way, because that can be a bit dangerous if it's not broomed away. And so, I think she'll know that she's got it in her today. So definitely will be trying to. Oh, here we go, up again. Yeah, she's definitely got it there. It's pretty hard sometimes. You can be a little bit more hesitant when you do, especially on your first attempt. And so hopefully that just gives her that little bit of confidence that she's got the height there and she knows that she can make it. Thanks
to the team. That was a replay of the first attempt, and this is Imogen getting ready for her second. And as I said, there's 1:30 on the clock. So when you're down by yourself, Keely, how long do you get to jump?
So Imogen's the last jumper, so she has 3 minutes. And she's got on the clock, I think, around 1 minute 20 to go. So she'll be trying to maximise that as much as possible whilst not getting cold. Because you don't want to get cold in a situation like this. But you also want to have maximal recovery in between each jump.
So Imogen Skelton, second attempt at 1 metre 80.
Ooh, another close one. Imogen's got really awesome arm drive, and she's really determined in her jumping. And you can see that, especially from that angle before, you know, that face-on angle, that she's, all of her thoughts are just directed on that in that moment. And so she'll go back over to her coach and reassess.
That was Queenie Morgan in the triple jump with her latest attempt there. Bell lap here sounding in the under 20 mile race, down to 2 runners to sort it out.
Yeah, Alex Macbeth from Wellington Harriers leading from the Hawke's Bay athlete there, Robin Moore. They've actually had a good battle all the way through, those two athletes neck and neck. Coming down with 300 metres remaining now. Certainly Alex at the front trying to push that pace. He's trying to get away, but the young athlete there, Robin Moore, he's coming in with the fastest time of this small field, and with 200 metres to go, he's trying to pop around the outside there of Alex.
He ran 4:32.89 a fortnight ago at the Potts Classic in Hastings, and they're in for a very good tussle here up the straight.
To be honest, for those watching from home, as they came around that top bend, the Hawke's Bay athlete there, Robin Moore, looked a lot like a young Richard Potts coming around the top bend in that Hawke's Bay singlet with the short cropped hair, but a good finish there from Alex Macbeth from Wellington Harriers, the local athlete. He's managed to hold off Robin in that last 150 metres and pull away by a few seconds.
Time around sort of 4:31, 4:32 is probably all right tonight.
Yeah, I think Imogen, we were saying just before about how the wind had dropped a little bit for Imogen jumping, and I think for the guys out there on the field, the rain has died away a little bit, the wind's dropped just enough. But still, it's not beautiful running conditions out there. There's a lot of water on the track still.
Not great walking conditions either, but a little earlier, just before we came to air, Jonah Kropp walked outstandingly in a 3,000 metre track walk. He broke a long-standing under 20 New Zealand record, and he's now set that at 12:16.43. That previous record had stood since 1993. He also broke the under 19 record, and Laura Langley was in record-breaking form as well, with 13:20.17 in the 3,000 metre track walk for women. Keely, Imogen's third and final.
Third and final, here she goes. And we did just say that the wind had dropped, but can confirm it sounds like it has picked back up. Ooh! That was a really, really close attempt. She held her curve really well and just nipped it with the back of her legs or her heels on that one. So I think she'll be a little bit gutted, but she'll also be, you know, like quite realistic in that these conditions, it's pretty hard to jump really high.
What's the confidence like when the apron gets a bit wet like this, and the fact that, you know, obviously the swirling winds as well? Does it just play on your mind, play on your confidence levels a bit?
It can do. I think it depends on how you approach it, you know. If you go into it with the mindset that this is what it is, and you've kind of mentally prepared yourself, then it, you know, you don't let it deter you as much, but it can also, like, anything can throw you at different times. You've just got to be able to bring it back into what your processes are and, you know, kind of get your head just back in the game, really. But it can be really, really difficult, and I think it takes experience in order to try and, like, overcome that at times. But yeah, I mean, it's not just in the high jump, it's, you know, these triple jumpers that are out there at the moment will be going through the exact same thing.
And this is Desalia Owusu from Australia, the current competition leader, but running through on that attempt. Men's high jump coming up a little later, and we've talked about the Australians. The 2 Australians will be to the fore, but there is a good crop of young New Zealand men coming in underneath Hamish Kerr, who's not here tonight, but Hamish, of course, jumped and won in Wanganui last week. But Hugo Jones, a big improver there. I think he's only 17, Hugo, and he pulled out a 2:07, stuck 88 centimetres onto his best. So that must have been pretty exciting down there at the high jump apron when he did that. Yeah,
no, it was really exciting. It's always good to see people coming through, and obviously there's quite a, you know, Hamish is right at the top in the world, and then we've got a bit of a gap, and so it's really cool to see these guys pushing and making that gap a bit smaller. So we've got Hugo Jones, who's done a 2:07, but we've also got Adam Stack, who's done a 2:08, and Rafe Quio, who's done 2:06. and Mate Padoya, who's done 2:06 as well. So we do have a really good crop of the young ones coming through, which is just awesome to see. And I know that some of them will be a bit gutted about today's conditions, but at the same time, anything can happen.
And that happens in an hour and 10 minutes at 7 o'clock, so just have to hope that things can improve, and as we know, they can quite quickly in New Zealand. Going to the track now, and Reece, we've got the under-20 women's mile about to get underway. A few more numbers for this.
Yeah, it's actually a good competitive field here for this junior women's mile. In the yellow strip there in the middle from Egmont, Jacqueline Kowalewski, certainly one of the favourites going into the start of this race, and also Ava Sutherland from Olympic Harriers.
They both ran really well at the Pots a fortnight ago, with Ava Sutherland finishing fourth in the under 20, 5:05.96, and Jacqueline Kowalewski just behind her in fifth with 5:06 and 34. So we'll be looking forward to them getting to the 4 in the 4 lap in just over a mile.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of what this wind is doing, as we just heard before about the Keely was saying about these big gusts of wind that are coming in and surprising us. These girls have started off quite tactically down that back straight. It'll be interesting to see who wants to make that first move, but yeah, there's several of them that can win, and when you're running in front of a decent crowd on a cold night here at Newtown Park, they want to come out there and finish in the best position possible. So yeah, we'll hold on for a second and see who decides to make the move. Lucy Jerker there, just sitting there in second place. She'll be one of the athletes we'd expect to see up the front at the finish.
That was Lila Favre on the triple jump in the back straight, far side from us. They come down past us here in this under 20 mile. Pleased to see that they're getting the hurdles out again, because they did put them away for a bit, but conditions may allow us to go through with the hurdles. Discus underway as well. We'll talk more about that shortly. Just with the hurdles, we do have Josh Hawkins here tonight, the New Zealand record holder, who lowered his record in Brisbane last year after formally setting it 8 years previously at the same venue. So looking forward to seeing Josh Hawkins in the 110 metre hurdles. Got Hannah Collins in the triple jump, the junior champion, also New Zealand secondary schools record holder, and her jump actually the 18th best of all time, remarkably, at her young age.
So just where they are at the moment, I actually went around and did a bit of a training session before this started, and that particular spot is where the wind really hits you, so they'll be feeling it right now.
It's tough work for them, all right, and we'll hopefully get an update on the distances recording over there. I've got an update only as far as 2 rounds in so far with the triple jump, but we have moved on from there. And the discus underway with Masateru Yagami of Japan are currently leading with 58.06, which was his 3rd round throw.
The other is Lucy Yorkie,
Hugh McLeod-Jones, Joden Pratt and Max Abbott, Corinne Henning, Tom Rieu of France, who was second to Connor Bell, Masateru Yagami, Angus Lever, Max Perry and Heno Nell throwing the discus there this afternoon. And Masateru Yagami registered with a 58.06 at the moment. Jared Neighbours 48.25. Hugh McLeod-Jones 43 and 88.
Yeah, and just as we pass our attention back to this junior women's mile on the track there, I'm sure a proud dad at home watching as Neve Motley leading out this junior women's mile. It looks as though it's starting to pick up a little bit as they're coming down to receive the bell. The athlete there from Egmont Athletics, Jacqueline Kowalewski in the yellow on the outside, Lucy Jerker in 3rd in the black strip on the outside of her. But Neve Motley, she's been leading almost entirely this race from about 100 metres in, and showing the distance prowess from the Motley family as she's leading out Lucy Jerker, who's running in that New Zealand secondary school strip, I believe. So great to see New Zealand secondary school's team named to be able to compete across the classics this summer. But it's Neve Motley out the front, Lucy Jerker and Jacqueline Kowalowski.
The two New Zealand schools athletes regain the lead after the challenge at the bell. Neve Motley and Lucy Jerker.
Neve Motley with about 150 metres left to run. Lucy Jerker looking to come off her back as they come into the straight in the women's under 20 mile.
And considering the slow start, these girls have really ramped it up in this last 500 metres, and they're coming home with a reasonably solid time considering the conditions. And a very strong run there from Neve Motley, leading almost the entire race. Lucy Jerker running well there to come home in second, and Jacqueline Kowalowski from Egmont there taking home the bronze.
Neve, the 2,000 metre steeplechase winner at the New Zealand Secondary Schools competition in Christchurch in December. She's taken out the under 20 mile, get a time for her shortly. Slow first lap, but they wound it up from there.
Yeah, a little bit hard to see from the mixture of the uniforms there, but really good for athletics in Wellington. There's been a number of young girls coming through over the last few years. A couple of schools really represented there, but certainly Wellington Harriers, Olympic Harriers, a number of athletes in that race, I think made up about 3/4 of the field, those juniors.
Alex Macbeth with a personal best, 4:31.80 in the under 20 mile over Robin Moore. Compostini third, and a personal best for him as well. So some good running in the tricky conditions as the hurdles get set up down in front of us.
Well done. 3 rounds deep.
Next up on the track at the top of the hour, the Brentwood Hotel men's 110 metre hurdles. Also the men's under 20 going to be racing at the same time, so you'll see two different height hurdles go up there, senior men's in the outside lanes and the under 20 men's the inside lanes. And we look forward to seeing New Zealand record holder Josh Hawkins step out in that race.
Yeah, you were mentioning before, Mark, about seeing Josh come out and break that record last year. To be honest, especially as a distance runner, it was actually one of the highlights for me, having been competing a few years ago as Josh was coming through as a junior, and seeing how dominant he was a number of years ago, and to see him come back last year at the Capital Classic and running so amazing, it was really cool to see.
It was one of the great stories, because he is often fairly much alone. Even if there are one or two out there, there's no one kind of within his realm domestically to kind of push him, but he obviously finds the drive within himself to carry on.
And unfortunately, now's probably a great time to talk about how wonderful the weather conditions were last year. And look, it's the nature of a New Zealand summer, isn't it? That we've got water restrictions here in Wellington because we haven't had much rain, and the reservoirs are getting a bit dry. And here we are, here for the Capital Classic, and we've got some rain on the menu.
It would have been perfect last night.
Last night I was down at the track here as well, and I was like, this would be an amazing day to be holding the Capital Classic. But hey, you know, if we can get the wet weather out now, so that for Nationals in 6 weeks' time we've got good weather, then, you know, I don't think that anyone will be too upset with that.
Corin Hanning in the discus circle. His best to date is 37.37, which is a personal best for Corin. So congratulations to him. Just Something notable has occurred in the discus, and that's Tom Roux from France, who was runner-up to Conor Bell. He has had 3 no throws, so he's out of the competition. The Japanese thrower, he was the 2018 national champion and a 4th in the Asian Games back in 2019. He's pulled out a 58.06 to lead that comfortably from Jared Neighbours, who I had heard was having a little bit of trouble getting here, but he obviously has, which is good. He's also listed to run in the hurdles, but whether he does or not, we shall see. You've taught me many things over the years here at the Capital Classic, things that you should bring along, duct tape and various other things. You've got a toolkit, Reece, but I never thought about bringing a torch. I didn't think that would be necessary, but it may be by the end of tonight.
Yeah, look, and I've just clicked as well that now that I need glasses to see in this dark light, it doesn't go so well when I'm trying to use the binoculars to figure out the athletes. That's why it took me 2 laps to figure out that it was Niamh Motley at the front of that junior women's mile. And I think you may have saved the day tonight, Keely. Was it you that picked up Niamh from the airport and brought her in?
Yeah, so I saw someone posted on the Facebook distance group page that Niamh needed a ride because unfortunately her mother couldn't make it and her flight had got cancelled. And I was just down the road, and I'm not competing, so I was like, right, I'll go get her. We had a bit of a trouble finding each other. She went back into the airport a bit further in, and I couldn't get it, but we got her in the end. So, and she was in really, really good spirits. So, you know, she was like, oh, the weather's not going to be that great, but hey, it's still going to be a good competition. So it's a good attitude to have, and obviously it paid off tonight.
Oh, look, and it's a great transition for you in a few years as you move into being an athlete liaison for some of the Grand Prix around New Zealand, and you build up your driving skills and pick up athletes from the airport.
Oh, maybe, but you know, I need to finish my competitive side first before I start thinking about that.
You've still got a national record to chase, Kelly. You're only 3 centimetres off it.
I
with
know,
that 189
well,
to get to 192. You still hold ambitions?
Oh, for sure. Like, that's what I plan to be breaking this year. I've had on my my phone background for the last about 3 or 4 years. I've had the top list for New Zealand, and I've just slowly made my way up that ranking. So I'm 4th at the moment, and you know, we'll have plans to knock Tanya Murray out of top spot sometime in this year. Outstanding.
We wish you well for that, and shame we couldn't see you here tonight, but great to have you as part of the commentary, and really looking forward to the men's high jump, which is an hour away now at 7 o'clock. Just confirming Niamh Motley with a 5:21.29 win. Ava Sutherland listed as second, Jacqueline Kowaleski in third.
In second place from the Olympic Club here in Wellington.
So apologies to Ava there. We may have missed her for someone else, but Ava's finished second there in that under 20 mile behind Niamh Motley.
And the winner of the junior women's mile in a time of 5:21, Niamh Motley.
Back at the discus, 5:44 in the under 20s is Finn McLeod. There's Niamh and Ava and Jacqueline on the podium after the ceremony for the under 20 mile here. So the under 20 discus is going at the same time as the senior men's. And I'll get you an update on that fairly shortly. 5:92 here is Max Abbott, who finished third at the Pots a fortnight ago with 47.73. Personal best of 48.90. And so far tonight, 42.15 has been his best. That was his 4th throw. Top 6 after 3 rounds. getting another 3, and the big surprise and disappointment there that the French thrower Tom Baru, who's already thrown well in this domestic summer here in New Zealand, unfortunately 3 no throws, and I can imagine throwing a discus in these conditions not the easiest tonight.
Men's 110 metre high hurdles. This is a WACT Challenger event. That means it
offer my apologies now for Ava, as we're checking back through as those results have come through with Ava Sutherland taking out that second place in the junior women's mile. Unfortunately, the list I've got in front of me has her running in a different strip, so we were identified her as Lucy throughout that race. But congratulations there, Ava, on an excellent run there. Second place behind Neve Motley in that junior women's mile.
Continuing a pretty good season for Ava thus far. Hurdle still being adjusted down in front of us on the track, with both the senior men's and under 20s to run at the same time. Josh Hawkins going through his warm-up there, out by the lane 8 bollard. There's Max Abbott. Comes back to the circle for his 4th round throw. Just looking to update the under 20 situation in the discus there. Finn McLeod, 38.26, that's personal best throw for him. He did that in round number 2. He's had 2 no throws through 4 rounds, but a 38.26 has him in front, only narrowly from Connor Brown, 38.02, 24 centimetres back, which he also recorded in his second throw. That's the 2 competitors in the under 20 discus. They're throwing the 1.75 kilo discus. There's our competition leader from Japan, who's just thrown what looked to be an excellent throw initially out of the hand, but he fell. So it looked really good out of the hand there for Masatoru Yagami. 58.06, his best measured throw to date.
I understand this was a combined event of the men's under 20.
So now the 110 metre hurdles
Senior men's high hurdles.
about to get underway. Senior men and under 20s to run together. Josh Hawkins, Angus Lever and Tom Maloney, lanes 7, 8 and 9. And closer in we've got Joseph Dunn,
and in the senior men's we have lane 7,
James Hansen,
Hawkins, who's the current New Zealand champion,
and Connor Brown
and Tom Maloney in nine.
going to the block. So 3 senior men, 3 under 20s, jumping over the different sized hurdles as they take their marks. And a false start. Officials conferring. So yellow card here for lane number 9, Tom Maloney. So yellow card there, lane 9, Tom Maloney with that false start. So they take their blocks for the second time. Josh Hawkins there in lane number 7. Very big 5.35. Angus Lever beside him, Tom Maloney in lane 9, closer in the under-20s, Joseph Dunn, James Hansen and Connor Brown in lane number 4. Underway this time, and Joshua Hawkins leading out, Tom Maloney over on the outside, and closer in Joseph Dunn running well in the under-20s, Josh Hawkins in front, Joseph Dunn going really well over the under-20 hurdles, Joshua Hawkins will win comfortably as expected, Joseph Dunn taking out the under-20s on the inside.
So Joshua Hawkins took out the senior men, and we think Joseph Dunn took out the men's 20.
Joseph Dunn from the New Zealand Secondary Schools Association team, running really well there in the under-20s and taking out that division. And there's Josh Hawkins going back over his performance.
Yeah, like I said before, Mark, about those New Zealand Secondary Schools athletes that are competing here. Great to see that move by the Secondary Schools Association to select those athletes. And here we see in the hurdles, with the small fields that those athletes are getting to run in the lanes next to those top senior athletes. It's a great opportunity for those top secondary schools runners and jumpers and so on, those field eventers as well. To be able to compete with our top senior athletes in this Grand Prix series.
So looking forward to seeing Josh's time. Reminding you he is the New Zealand record holder, 13.67 last year. 8 years after he had set it, he took another 2/100ths of a second off it in Brisbane. He does have the meeting record here as well, set last year, 14.08. There were 4 meeting records set here last year, and Josh, the only returnee of those.
Joshua Hawkins, New Zealand champion, was first in a time of 14.01. That's a meet record, I think.
Run 14.01 and broken his own meet record, so a bit of a bonus there for Josh. And conditions not preventing a meeting record for Josh Hawkins, taking 7/100ths of a second off his effort last week.
It's minus 0.7, so it was a headwind. And then if we move on to the result of the men's 20 hurdles.
Max Abbott in the discus circle up to, I think, throw number 5.
And the official result of the men's 20 110 metre high.
His best so far, 42 and 15. His third throw.
Connor Craig Brown was second in 15.46. Yes, so James McKenzie didn't finish.
So Misatoru Yagami, 58.06, that was round 3. 56.82 he threw in round number 4. He's got a comfortable lead over Jared Neighbours, 45.25, his best so far in round 3. And Hugh McLeod-Jones lying third with 43.88, a season best for him. And if you're looking forward to seeing Tom Roux from France again, as I was, unfortunately 3 no throws.
Previously, we have decided to reschedule that to start at 7, so you can proceed to the pole vault and start your second prep for this event.
Joseph Dunn recorded 14.86 in the 110 under 20 hurdles over Connor Brown. And Kelly, I think we're getting a reschedule for the men's pole vault, which is good news.
Yes, so they're due to start at 7 o'clock, and the women are also due to start at 7:15, so they might end up doing a combined kind of competition and going up to the men's height and then to the women's height. They did that in the Cooks Classic with the high jump last week, and you know, in these conditions they don't want them to drag out for too long, so I can imagine that they'd be doing that.
Does that kind of work okay, that kind of scenario for the competitors?
I think if there's a smaller number of both men and women, it can work really well. However, if you get to large groups of people, you can be waiting quite a while, and especially in this type of conditions, you know, when you're cold, it's not necessarily optimal, but you can make it work.
Indeed, that's what they will have to do tonight. I'm looking forward to the United Kingdom champion Charlie Myers again. He was excellent at the Potts Classic off a short run-up. Interested to see what run-up he uses tonight. And James Stain knocked 5.42 down with his hand when seemingly clear, so we're looking to build on that as best as 5.50, which is only 1 centimetre off the all-time record of Paul Gibbons. The 100-metre hurdles coming soon. The Brentwood Hotel 100-metre hurdles next up on the track. Does feature a couple of Australian competitors, Imogen Breslin and also Elliot Johnson, who's a heptathlete.
13.10, and the World Championships qualifying time is 12.77. So the woman has dropped a bit. In fact, the last good reading we had was quite good.
Might try and do Joshua, tell him that as his second bet.
Excellent athletics for a night like this.
Our meeting manager, Olympian Tony Rogers, is headed away with Keely's microphone in search of Joshua Hawkins, who has set a meeting record, lowering last year's mark by 7/100ths of a second. Now here is our leader in the discus, Misatoru Yagami. 2018 national champion, throwing well here at Newtown Park tonight. Another good throw out towards the 60-metre mark, and that would threaten his best tonight, I'd imagine. .58.06 round 3, was 56.82 in round 4, and another high 50s at the very least, you would think, as we head to the 100-metre hurdles. Saskia Rind in lane 2, Holly Gray in 3, Elliot Johnson from Australia in 4, Brenna Stevenson in 5, Imogen Breslin out of Australia with a best of 13.19 at Wollongong just a few days ago, January the 19th. 5:01. And on the outside is Maddie Wilson, who we saw on the high jump earlier.
She's been competing in the high jump and a whole range of events tonight.
Yeah, and I think despite the 5:01 number on Imogen Breslin's shirt, I don't think she is a deportee from Australia. I think she's here voluntarily competing in the hurdles.
that nearly slipped past me, Rex. Nicely done.
Little politics chat.
Now, I don't think we've got Saskia here, so down to a field of 5 with Holly Gray, Alia Johnson, Brianna Stevenson, Imogen Breslin, and Maddie Wilson away on the outside. Women's 100-metre hurdles and underway with a good start here from Brianna Stevenson out nicely. Imogen Breslin just taking a wee while to wind up, then Alia Johnson. Brianna Stevenson in front, taking it all the way to the last hurdle here and will hold. Brianna Stevenson has beaten Imogen Breslin of Australia and Alia Johnson of Australia home in third. Excellent run from Brianna out of the blocks nicely there, Reese, and held her form under pressure.
Yeah, she was leading as she went through that first hurdle, neck and neck there with Alia Johnson, and looked pulled away in the middle section. Looked as though she was hurdling well. Good strong finish from Imogen Breslin on the outside, but over that last 10 metres, she put another metre on her.
Brianna Stevenson, 24 years old, and she posted 13.74 at the Queensland Championships in December. And back home here, be interested to see what time she's posted.
And we see Maddie Wilson there, number 554, in the long tights as well, coming off the high jump a little earlier. Tony Rogers, Olympic 1500 metre semi-finalist there for New Zealand. Meet director here at the Capital Classic. Tireless worker here in athletics in Wellington. Chief Executive of Athletics Wellington, and I think meet director for this event since its inception. So yeah, still down there on the track, busy. I think he's still looking for Josh Hawkins,
who must be warming down, presumably. Yeah, 20 years. It's not bad, is it? 25th anniversary this year too for the Potts Classic, and they're well ingrained now in the New Zealand domestic season with the Cooks Classic in between. Makes for a really good 3 weekends in a row of quality athletics through January into February. It's Finn McLeod out there in the New Zealand Secondary Schools athletics singlet. In the under-20 discus. I can tell you that Masatera Yugami's 5th round throw is best so far, 59 and 14. So he's very strong in the back half of the competition. Finn's last throw not recorded there, 41 and 69, a personal best, though he's got to be happy with that in round 5. And Connor Brown second in that competition with 38.02, the under-20s. Brianna Stevenson 14.16, a season best for her. Imogen Breslin second 14.29, and Alia Johnson 14 and 59. Now Alia was down to be in the triple jump earlier. I'm not sure whether she didn't take part there by the looks. Now just looking back at that result, Desley Owusu, the Australian national champion, the winner there, 12.87. Anna Thompson, New Zealand champion, 11.92, second. She only recorded one jump today. She was the winner at Cook's Gardens last week, and Hannah Collins third, 11 and 69. Hugh McLeod-Jones out of Kill City has had a pretty good afternoon with a 43.88 season best third. 2 throws left to come, Jared Neighbours and Masatoru Yugami. Now the men's C100 is taking place here, and Leo Youssef, the winner, 5.95 there in the first of our 100 metre events. So we have Leo Youssef, the winner there. That was the men's B final, the 100 metre Elite A final, due to go at 7:35 this evening. Tell you that Jared Neighbours has finished second, 46.21 at the discus, and this is the 6th and final throw for our winner tonight at the Capital Classic, Masatoru Yugami. 59.14 is best in the previous round. He's had a strong back half. Let's see what he can finish with here. Once again, it's sailed out just under the 60 metre mark by the looks. Get a measure on that to see if he has been able to improve on his 59.14 in the previous. But there is our winner of the discus tonight, Masatoru Yugami. Leo Youssef won the Group B final for the 100 metres. We've also got a C group coming. And the elite, as I say, at 7:35, which is a really good field of New Zealand sprinters there, all with very similar PBs.
They're on their marks for the men's C100 metres.
Have been some late defections here, as you can imagine, from our 100 metres. Mana athlete in lane number 2, Richard Jones, who's pulling out and will win the C final. And second over was Max Pidui.
Over to the presenters now.
The win readings on them shortly, but just a little bit of a gust behind them. And we'll see what sort of times they're running and whether later the elites can post some decent times. Cody Wilson, Tyon Trago, both local mana runners, going really well. Beato Yaneto is down to start as well. So is Joseph Miller, former New Zealand champion. Rylan Nume, who's running really well, young athlete on the way up, who won the 200 metres at the New Zealand secondary schools. Confirming there, Masatoru Yugami, 59.14. His last throw was measured at 58.65. Plenty more international athletes coming later. We've got the javelin with Tori Peters, the first appearance for the national record holder this season.
Here in front of the podium is Josh Hawkins. Josh has just set another meet record here at the Capital Classic. Josh, you came here last year, took away some cash by dipping into the bonus prize pool. You're in it again, $4,000. I think we've got 2 record holders so far tonight to split. Let's hope we get some more, but the weather obviously suited you really well to get another meet record in one of your good times to open the season.
Yeah, no, I was really, despite the weather, like what it looks like, there was actually quite good conditions out there. Like all the hurdlers don't really like having a massive tailwind, so it was actually quite nice having a little bit of tailwind at the start, but then the time was actually into a headwind. So, you know, I'm happy with the time, and yeah, I'm excited for where the season's about to go.
So 14:01, you ran 14:10 last year here. You've done well on this Wellington track. What have you got in store next?
Yeah, so I've got a few of the classics left to go. Porritt next week, and then I've got a few like Australian comps as well, such as the Sydney Track Classic, and yeah, just looking forward to those. So hopefully we can get under that 14-second barrier.
Well, congratulations again on another meet record at the Capital Classic. Wellington's got some good weather and a mixed bag tonight, but you've done well.
Thanks so much, Tony.
Yes, an outstanding performance there from Josh Hawkins. Just had the Group B for the women in the 100 metres. Josephine Tappenden, comfortable winner there out of Nelson.
And I believe that might have been Nadine Houghton from Mana Athletics in second place there. So I did hear over the announcers here at the track just talking earlier about the great representation coming from the Mana Athletics Club. It's traditionally been a children's athletics club out in the Porirua area, and it's great to see a number of those athletes that actually, if they've moved up into the older ranks, have kept that Mana Athletics singlet on. They're repping that Mana club with pride, and I think in the 100 metres alone across the men's and women's, there's 10 Mana Athletics competitors. So great to see a local club out there in Porirua represented here at the Capital Classic so well.
Indeed, we'll see two of their finest, Cody Wilson and Tyrone Trago in the 100 metres elite at 7:35, and the women's elite will be off the back of that at 7:40. We've got Talia Van Rooyen down to start there, the National Youth Champion, and Libby Wilson, 3-time senior bronze medalist over the 100, down to start as well. Leo Youssef took out that B final, 11:18, season best for Leo over Hunter Scott, and Marty Bedoya, a season best 100 for him, 11:78, and Marty, one of our leading high jumpers, who will be in action in about a half an hour there. Zach Kimmins home second in 12:01.
And our winner of the Brentwood Hotel's 100-metre hurdles for women in a time of 14.16, Rihanna Stevenson.
And the para 100 metres here. Jackson Woolley, first one down and through. So it's a multi-class event. And Jackson Woolley, Joshua Tia and Josh Taylor, the participants there. Jackson Woolley, a T38 category competitor. Josh Taylor, T20 and T64. Joshua Tia. 100 metres para mixed. As the track events continue, 400 metres coming soon. That's a World Continental Tour Challenger event, both men's and women's. And the hurdles we saw earlier, the 110 hurdles, 100 metre hurdles, also World Continental Tour events. So points up for grabs for those successful competitors tonight. Another shower of rain passing through here. The floodlights capturing them beautifully. Floodlights quite new here at Newtown Park, installed for when this was used as a training facility for the Women's World Cup recently. So just looking out into the field, all events have finished for the time being. The men's pole vault, which was due to start some time ago and was postponed due to the prevailing conditions. We're hoping that that will be underway at about 6:45 with the New Zealand's. We saw Josephine Tappenden win the B final out of Nelson as Josephine, 13:14. And from Mana, Nadine Houghton 13 and 76 second, and Lefevre, who was in the triple jump pit earlier, 13 and 88.
Yeah, we're going to see
third.
Josephine a little bit later in the 400 as well. One of the favourites, should be in the mix there for that top three.
Newtown Park, the venue for the 20th anniversary edition of the Team Leisure Harcourts Capital Classic. Weather, unfortunately, not playing ball. It has been rather good here in the capital. As Reece mentioned earlier, to have water restrictions at the moment. You wouldn't think so today, but it's just the nature of things, and athletes and officials doing a great job of getting this meeting underway and through. We've already seen a meeting record. We've also seen a 3,000 metre under 19 and under 20 record from Jonah Kropp as well. So despite the conditions, some excellent performances. Jackson Woolley posting 12.56 in the para-multi class 100 metres. Joshua Tier 13.39 and Joshua Taylor 14.24.
We were talking before, Mark, about Tony Rogers' involvement with this event from the beginning. You can't go past the sponsorship and support of Team Leisure Harcourts as well. Continued support over a number of years for this event. They're back again in 2024, and look, for this event in Wellington, their ongoing support has been brilliant.
Most certainly has. A number of other loyal supporters as well. Brentwood Hotel, Fujifilm, Ace Sports, which is Tony's company, SAS Sports as well, Body Haven, also Whitby Collegiate. Nikau Cafe sponsoring the men's shot later in the night, and the women's shot as well. Warm-ups taking place for the pole vault. Talk more on that soon. And we've got the blocks going into place for the 400 metres. Now, Reece, looking forward to the 400 metres. Tommy Tapuni stepping out over the 400, and he really looks like he's got a decent time brewing, Tommy, over this distance. You wouldn't think it would be tonight necessarily, but I think it'd be well worth following through the season. And Lex Revel Lewis, the current national champion, who set a meeting record and a new personal best, the Potts Classic a fortnight ago, 47.34. Up there. Desley Owusu of Australia, 12.87, took out the triple jump over Anna Thompson, 11.92, Australian champion over the New Zealand champion, and young Hannah Collins third at 11.69. So Ethan Calder-Cass, lane 2, Jonathan Maples, 400 metre hurdle champion, lane 3, Tommy Tapuni in 4, Kaharangi Cotterill in 5, the youth gold national champion, Lex Revel Lewis, Jacob Kilmister and Nick Ash. So it's a terrific field. Over at the pole vault, there's the UK national champion going through his warm-up, and that is Charlie Meyer, who was successful at the Potts Classic in Hastings off a short run-up. He was pretty happy with what he was able to achieve that night, and looking to build on that tonight. And New Zealand champion James Stain knocked down 5.42, which Charlie Myers cleared. Charlie's best 5.71, which he set in Switzerland back in 2019. And the women's pole vault is going to run in conjunction with that. Hannah Adja, the national junior title winner in 21 and 22, finished second at the Pots for 3.45 behind the Japanese vaulter Misaki Murata, who's not here tonight.
The meet record for this race is 47.28.
So here is the field for the men's open 400 metres. Ethan Calder-Cass lane 2, Jonathan Maples in 3, Tommy Tapuni in 4, Kaharangi Cottrell in 5, Lex Revel Lewis in 6, Jacob Kilmister in 7, and Nick Ash out in lane number 8. Tommy Tapuni in 4, and Lex Revel Lewis in lane 6 in the Waitakere top. Two that should be prominent as they get underway. Comfortable start from Lex Revel Lewis, quickly rounding up the competitor on the outside. Tommy Tapuni coming through in lane 4 and quickly making up that stagger as well down the back straight. Tommy Tapuni coming underneath Lex Revel Lewis. He's run a very strong first 200 metres, has Tommy Tapuni. National champion Lex Revel Lewis looking for a response on the outside, but Tommy Tapuni's going to turn first with a comfortable lead here in lane number 4 from Lex Revel Lewis. Tommy tying up halfway down. Lex Revel Lewis is closing, but Tommy Tapuni's got enough, and he will last to win from Lex Revel Lewis. And Kaharangi Cottrell through in 3rd. Be interested to see Tommy's time here on a track that will be pretty dead in these conditions, but he ran a very strong 200, made up the stagger quickly on Lex Revel Lewis. And we await his time with interest. It's a tough way to finish, but a fast way to cool down.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that time. It looks as though he's around that mid-47 second mark. The 400 metre record here for the Capital Classic, 47.28.
Tommy Tapuni, 47.26. That's it.
So here's dipped under it.
Just a confirmation there over the loudspeaker here at Newtown Park. 47.26 for Tommy Tapuni. So just dipping under that Capital Classic record. And in less than ideal conditions, as you can see, the rain starting to come down pretty steady now on the track and down that back straight. We do see the windsock down over there at the triple jump buffeting around.
One of our oldest records in the book is the 400 metre senior men's record. It's so old that it's held by Sean Farrell, who I did compete against many a time at QE2 Park in Christchurch, and saw Sean recently actually at the New Zealand Secondary Schools Championships. He runs a couple of shoe clinics down there in Christchurch now, and maybe Tommy Tapuni might be a man who can get close to Sean Farrell's 400 metre national record. Not as old as the 800 metre Peter Snell record, of course, but there's a few in the books that probably need rewriting.
Well, I was just looking at the record list that we have sitting up here. It looks as though they've taken away the records from prior to 2006, which unfortunately means the men's mile record is no longer listed there, Mark.
And that is your record, Reece. That is your record, Reece Buck, and it will always be your record, and I'll mention it every year as long as they invite me back here.
I thought I'd better give you an opportunity to mention it early, but no, it is great to see. We do have 4 records in the men's broken last year. We're already, what we're talking about, 2 records so far and 1 junior men's Capital Classic record.
Saw Jonathan Maples with a personal best on the 400 flat there too, our 400 metre hurdle champion. As we return our attention to the women's 400. We may have a couple of scratchings here. Let's try and get an update on this field. So lane number 3 here, we have Nancy Lee, number 735. Next to her in 586. Lane number 4 is Zita Mio. Looks like Mia DeJaga's missing from lane 5. Got the New Caledonian athlete Lone V in lane number 6, and Chantel McDonald out in lane 7. So a couple of scratchings here. Lucy Henner not in lane 2, and Mia DeJaga missing as well as they get underway. Of course, we have had some athletes who have been unable to make it because of the weather conditions in Wellington, not allowing planes to land. Lone V down the back straight, taking a convincing lead, making up the stagger very quickly on Chantel McDonald, and getting out to a big lead. She ran 56.08 in Canberra last Saturday. 20-year-old from New Caledonia coming up towards the home turn, and good way in front. Zita Mayo is making ground into second on the stagger underneath Chantel McDonald as they come around the corner. So Lone Bear will win very comfortably, and Zita Mayo home in second. Chantel McDonald will finish third. In the women's 400 metres, another pretty good time about to come up too. We'll confirm that for you as soon as we get it through. The Fujifilm women's 400. Decent crowd all taking shelter. Of course, normally on a nice night here, Reese, they'd be lining the banks, but no such tonight, but certainly makes it cosy in the stand anyway.
Yeah, the last event I was down here for, the National 10,000 metre champs here in November, we had a few hundred spectators down on the track into about lane 4, cheering the athletes on as they ran around for those 10,000 metre champs. It was great atmosphere, beautiful conditions. A little bit of a contrast here, but look, some great athletes out here on the track and the field. Some great competition going on despite the weather. And as we've seen from Josh, and just in the 400s, some good times coming as well.
Yeah, so Josh Hawkins, Tommy Tapuni, both with meeting records. Earlier a 3,000 metre walking record as well, under 19, under 20 from Jonah Kropp. Laura Langley as well with a record in the women's 3,000 metre track walk, despite these rather gnarly conditions. Next up on the track, got a men's B 400 metres, and field of 4, looks like they're all out there for this. Pole vault is getting underway as well, and the men's and women's to run in conjunction, it would seem, after the men's was delayed from earlier because of the adverse conditions.
And for those of you at home that are waiting for this awesome men's high jump field, they're about 10 minutes away from the start of that men's high jump. You will see as they pan back onto the track there for the start of this next 400, the men's high jump field just starting to do their warm-ups in preparation for that.
And we'll have our high jump expert, Kelly O'Hagan, 3 times national champion, Commonwealth Games representative, finished 6th there with 189, which only puts her 3 centimetres off the New Zealand record of Tanya Murray, another long-standing record in the New Zealand athletics books. Asher Robertson in lane number 2 upcoming, Felix Field in 3, Samu Herman in 4, and Jag Willers in lane number 5. Jag ran a personal best 158.62 800 metres last week at Cook's Gardens. Confirmation of the field. And they're underway in the men's B 400 metre final with a pretty even start. Jag Willers out in lane number 5. He's running along pretty nicely. Asher Robinson's making some ground on the inside of Felix Field. Samu Herman, but out front Jag Willers, he's actually extended his lead. He's got to run across the top here, of course, and an opportunity for the others to make ground on the stagger here, which Felix Field is doing in the yellow top. But Jag Willers off the back of the very impressive 800 metres last week. He's looking good over the 400, and we know he's strong. Asher Robinson is finishing really well through on the inside, though. He's made up good ground on that stagger, and he's come through on the inside. There's very little between them at the line, and Asher Robinson will get the dip on Jag Willers, Felix Field and Samu Herman. Great finish. But Asher Robertson made tremendous progress coming round the bend. And Jag Willers, who would open up a decent lead, has just been picked up late in the piece.
Yes, it was. Asher Robertson.
And you were mentioning before about long-standing New Zealand records. There'll be some athletes out there in the 3000 tonight that would have been enjoying the competition we've seen over in the States over the last couple of weeks. Certainly capped off by George Beamish, setting in New Zealand 5,000 metre, first ever New Zealander to go under 13 minutes and 10 seconds for the 5,000 metres. Ran 13:04 at the Terrier Classic. That's on the back of his 8:13 steeplechase New Zealand record that he set last year. And look, it's that 13:04 dips him under the Paris qualifying for the Olympic Games. That gives him some bonus points as well, and certainly sets him up for some options going into the Olympic Games this year. And like we were talking about earlier about Sam Tanner and his preparation using these domestic meets in New Zealand, we've got a number of athletes like George over in the States currently running in the indoor season. But the same thing, looking to maximise what they can at this stage of the season and then launch off into the European season in preparation for Paris.
53.68 personal best you saw there for Asher Robertson, so congratulations to him. And also at that meeting, Reese, Theo Quack, son of the late Dick, also posting an outstanding time for the 5,000 metres, so he's starting to zero in on potential representative honours as well.
Yeah, so a number of people at home will be starting to recognise some of the names we're talking about. We've had Tapuni out there competing today. I think Nick Cowan's son. Many will be familiar with Nick from the 90s, competing as one of New Zealand's top 400 metre runners. And Theo Quack's absolutely 13:16, I think, was his performance over 5,000 metres. Another one of the Northern Arizona University crew, led through a few years ago by Matt Baxter, who's been running extremely well in the States. And Yeah, great to see George Beamish and Theo Quacks running so fast over 5,000 metres. And especially indoors, it creates certainly a lot of optimism going into the outdoor season with what they might be able to do on an outdoor track.
Indeed, and talking about famous names, we're going to see Joe Dolphin on the track today, son of James, former leading sprinter, of course, and now Joe, the New Zealand Secondary Schools 100-metre champion. He'll be running tonight. Looking forward to seeing him go round. Here's the 800-metre B final here, Reese, with Alex Kelleher off the inside, and the field there in the rain, getting ready, and we've got a field of 8 for this. Mason Waterworth with a personal best listed at 1:58.67, which he ran at the Pots of 2023, just over a year ago. He's starting in lane number 6.
And in lane 4, the athlete to watch there, Zach Manning from, I believe that's Hawke's Bay, Hastings Club. And the black and yellow there looks like he's moved on to the inside. So Blake Miskell, the youngster, just 15 years old, I think going on 16 years old now. Blake Miskell on the outside there, the short figure in the Mana Athletics strip. Bernard Stella not far behind him in the Olympic strip. And for Olympic, Harry is also one of the youngsters in the field, but being led out here by Zach Manning from Hastings.
So Manning opening up a gap of about 3 metres here.
So the goal for a number of these athletes will be looking to break that 2-minute mark.
Matt Croxford in second, and Blake Miskell of Mana third. Zach Manning extending his lead now to about 10 metres coming off the back. Second at the moment is Sam Stitchbury, who's moved through to second. Blake Miskell still running a decent race, and a decent finish as well from Alex Kelleher. Zach Manning's going to hold though. Zach Manning victorious from Sam Stitchbury, and a good finish from Alex Kelleher. Did they get the 2 minutes, Reese?
Looks as though they might have been just outside that mark. I think with the conditions, as we've been saying, it has been switching around. The wind's been coming and going, but this pretty steady rain here now at Newtown Park making it difficult.
Zach has been a sub 2 minute performer, 1:59.63 his personal best, and just a tick over 2 minutes his season best. Get his official time for you soon.
Well, time for a quick introduction of the high jump field. Connor Craig Brown will be jumping first in the order. Hugo Newton-Jones, who jumped the personal best in Wanganui to finish second at 2:07, will be second.
And we're just a couple of minutes away now from the start of the men's high jump. It's an excellent field lining up for this event. We see the athletes lined up there in front of the high jump pit.
Robbie Quillard of New Zealand is also jumping. He's a PB of 2.6. Peter Wynyard will be next to jump.
So the two Australian athletes, Joel Baden and Roman Anastasios, certainly the favourites coming into this.
Joel Baden, a 3 times national champion. Personal best of 2:33 that he jumped in Melbourne last March. Picked up his Australian Championships 2017, 2019 and last year, and did jump 2:24 in Canberra Asher Robertson we've just seen on the track, listed to start here as well. Hugo Jones, who added 8 centimetres to his personal best last week, 2:07.
And Adam Stack, one of the leading New Zealanders as well.
Sam Stitchbury in second, 2:01.89, and Alex Gallagher was third in 2:02.57.
Tony Rogers with Tommy Tapuni, and we'll have a chat with him in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, with me down here in front, I've got Tommy Tapuni from North Harbour Bays. He set a meet record in these conditions tonight, over 400 metres. So he too is going to take a share of the Team Ledger Harcourt's bonus prize pool. Tommy, you've had a few months off, or about 8 weeks off, coming out tonight. You've done a grand job to win that race.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting a little bit more from myself, to be honest, but I guess I really did underestimate how I'd feel after 3 months of being injured. So special thanks to my coach, Elena, for getting me ready to a pretty high level. So yeah, I'm happy with it for a starting point.
So what have you got lined up next for you? Have you got some races in the rest of the major meets or Australia?
Yeah, I'm running a 200 in Adelaide next weekend, and then the ITM and a few of those other New Zealand meets, so just trying to run myself back into some shape.
Well, congratulations on the meet record, and it will be a pleasure to have you back here, hopefully in some fine weather at the Nationals.
Yeah, definitely, I'm looking forward to it.
Tommy Tapuni there with meeting director Tony Rogers, 1984 Olympic 1500 metre finalist, finished 9th in one of the great finals of all time. Unfortunately, it looks like the pole vault competition has been cancelled for the night. Both men's and women's were due to start. Well, we had a little bit of a break in the weather, but the rain has set in, and it's heavy and it's steady, and it's not conducive to pole vaulting. So unfortunately, we won't get an opportunity to see the likes of Charlie Myers out of England, the UK champion. We got to see him at least a fortnight ago win in Hastings. And the New Zealand champion James Stain, unfortunately, they will not be pole vaulting tonight. But we do have the high jump, and we've got Keely O'Hagan rejoining us, and we'll get Keely a microphone very shortly to talk through this. Just back on Zach Manning, 2:01.08 was his time in the men's B final over Sam Stitchbury. 2:01.89. Alex Kelleher with a good finish, 2:02.57. Some personal bests in there. Matt Croxford, 2:04.66. Bernard Stallard, 2:06.76. Doing a good job there as well. And James Elwood posting a PB as well.
In second is our own Tommy Peters. Ola Morley will be next to throw. Sorry, Alexa Duff is next to throw.
And Reese, highlight in the field tonight, Tori Peters, the New Zealand record holder, out for the first time in her quest to find her way to Paris. She needs to throw 64 metres for the automatic standard throw. And her national record only a few centimetres under that, so hopefully at some stage this season she'll be able to pull that out. She had an outstanding 2023, ending up on the podium in the Diamond League final in Oregon in the USA.
And Mark, as soon as you said Tori's name there, I thought I'd better quickly ruffle through my papers and figure out how far away before that event starts, and we're about 2 minutes away from the start of the women's javelin.
Is still in the lead with a 6 effort in the first round.
Keely O'Hagan making herself comfortable once again after an impressive set of stretching exercises, I've got to say, Keely. And we've had LeBron Cosgrave over 164 to open this competition, and it's a competition we've looked forward to with anticipation, obviously with Joel Baden here and another Australian, Roman Anastasios, who was who has jumped to 2:21. He did that at Canberra last weekend. 2:24 was Joel Baden in Canberra, but of course he's jumped as high as 2:33, which is obviously right up there with our very best in Hamish Kerr. And out there now is Connor Brown from Tauranga.
Johnson from Tigers in Australia, Sai Takamoto from Japan, Yona Alvi from France. Very promising looking field.
Good to get over that.
So,
and for those watching from home wondering why an athlete like that hasn't immediately gone and got undercover, is because earlier this evening when they had the covers out and some cover for the athletes, unfortunately some of those were blowing away with some of the gusts we were getting earlier. So the tents have been put away. The athletes are not only having to deal with it while they're competing, but they don't actually have much shelter in between their attempts as well, which is making it even worse.
Screen in front of you, we've got Imogen Skelton. This is the results from the women's high jump earlier, and Imogen Skelton jumped 176 with some really good attempts at 181, and Maddie Wilson jumped 172 along with Naomi Waite, who also jumped 172. I
can tell you on the track that there was to be a B 800 metres for the women, but with the defections that they've had in both the A and the B, they are going to run one Elite 800 at the end of the program for the women, so we look forward to that. It means that next up on the track we have got 200 metres, and the men's A final should be first there, or Group A, which has been considerably changed, but we've got a new field here, and they all go around to be really good. The national record holder Joseph Miller set some time ago, of course, but he's lining up alongside young Joe Dolphin, who was second at the New Zealand secondary schools in the 200 but won the 100. Angus Liver, who's got a 21:10 best, and some other good young runners, Caden Taylor, Joshua Atagoki, as we go back to the high jump.
We've got LeBron Jordan Cosgrove going for his last attempt, and that was not to be this time. He did get the crowd going for that and hoping to get that extra little bit of support, but unfortunately that is his third attempt, and it looks like he's limping along there, so hopefully he's not too injured and will be okay for the next time he's going to compete.
The next main event on the track will be the men's A race for the 200 metres. It looks like we have three competitors, at least on my computer list. We have Caden Dean Taylor, Angus Liver, and Joseph Miller. Joseph Miller is a very
I think we do have some defections in this 200 metres, unfortunately, with the prevailing conditions. So we're going to have a smaller field than anticipated.
Wellington, one of our other sprinters, back to South Africa, and we've lost Eddie Osenkitya to football in Hawaii. So we're looking for the next generation of young sprinters to come through, and of course Joseph Miller is showing the way as a member of that older generation, and he holds a New Zealand record. So
field for the javelin with the two Japanese competitors who threw well last week, Yuka Sato and Sei Takamoto, and the Frenchwoman Jonah Agui, who we saw in action last week as well, and Tori Peters with that New Zealand record 63.26 heading that field, and there she is in the background there as we go to the 200 metre field. We're down to Caden Taylor, Angus Liver and Joseph Miller in that particular race. So unfortunately a number of defections from that field.
these 200-metre races are sponsored by SAS Sports, and my understanding is that they've been long-time sponsors of athletics. Well done, SAS Sports.
Next to throw in the javelin, Tori Peters opening her season. World-class thrower, and her first round throw will be next.
Tori Peters on the runway for her first throw of the javelin competition. Tori underway with a throw that looks like it's somewhere in the mid-50s.
So Tori Peters holds the meet record for the javelin, 60.51 metres. It'll be interesting to see what she could throw tonight.
And that will control 52 and 66. And back in the shot put, we're going into our final round.
Here over back at the high jump, we've got Connor Craig Brown going in for his final attempt at this height. Ooh, and he will be exiting the competition. It's pretty tough out there, so good job, Connor, to get out there and get it done to the best of your ability today.
Luke Jarvis in 7, and Max Lewis out of lane 8. So good field for this men's A grade 200 metres.
Now the men's A grade, we've ended up with a combination of the A and the B there with who we've had left. So we'll have that underway very shortly. Yuka Sato, first of the Japanese competitors out there at the javelin. She finished third at the Cook's Classic last week with 51 and 83. New 2019 World Championship representative for Japan. She won the National Championship back in 2020 and she was 5th last year. One of 2 Japanese throwers.
Ali coming up for a final podium shot, put you second in the competition, schools representative.
We're back at the high jump here, and we've got Hugo Jones, who jumped a 2:07 last week at Cook's Classic, entering the competition. And that was a failure on his first attempt there. I don't currently have the height in front of me, but I think it would be around 180 metres. 182 is the height of the bar.
Now, 200-metre field going to the blocks. And this field has changed significantly.
In fact, it's Caden Taylor who's got a narrow lead from Joe Miller. And
Joe Miller, Caden Taylor prominent on the inside.
So Joseph Miller in lane 4.
Angus Liver has run past him and will run away for victory from Caden Taylor, and Joseph Miller in third. So we wound up with a combination of the A and the B race there. When we were down to 3 initially in the A, they've been combined with the Bs, and Angus Liver has come through and won nicely. He's run a 21.10 in favourable conditions recently, 21.78 tonight. Caden Taylor 22.15, Joseph Miller 22.30. Sai Takamoto.
Nice comfortable clearance there from, that was Tia Wynyard on his first attempt, coming in at 182.
Back at the javelin, Sai Takamoto, second Japanese competitor, a World Championship finalist back in 2022. She won at the Cook's Classic last week with 54 and 47. Confirmation of that 200-metre final. Angus Lever 21 and 77 over Caden Taylor, season best at 22.14, and Joseph Miller 22.30. Just tying up over the concluding stages. The New Zealand record holder with a time of 20.37 set back in 2017 in Hamilton.
Not to be on this attempt there, and quite a shorter run up compared to some of the other competitors.
And at the end of the first round, Tori Peters has the lead with her opening throw of 52.66 metres. That is round 1 of the javelin.
52.66 was Tori Peters' first round throw in the javelin. Now the women's 200, Michaela Fitty in lane 1, Maddie Wilson in 2, Alia Johnson from Australia in 3. We've seen tonight over the hurdles and at the triple jump, Neve Geddy in lane 4, Brenna Stevenson, who won the 100 hurdles in lane 5, Mia De Jager, who didn't run in the 400 earlier, in lane 6, and Sasha Kilmister in the outside.
Having a quick look at the women's field from the over 200 metres.
And they're underway in the 200 metre women's open.
In lane 1. And outside in lane 4, I think it might be Neve Geddy. And then outside her in the black.
There's a woman coming through in lane number 6, Mia De Jager has come through to win. Mia in the New Zealand Secondary Schools singlet. Taking that out, some of these races have been rejigged. She's the youth 400 metre champion from the last Nationals. Second throw from Tori looks similar to her first round throw. Mia De Jager 25 and 46, Neve Geddy 25 and 91, and Michaela Fitty dipping under 26 seconds for a season best 25 and 93.
And on the track we have the 200 metres para women final and the open 200 metres B final in one race.
This is Hugo Jones' second attempt at 182, his opening height, and it was a pretty comfortable clearance, so he'll be happy to get through to the next round. Oh, looked a bit too close there, kind of upper body just going into the bar a little bit, but he'll be going in for a third attempt and coming up.
Verda Kistrup, Nancy Lee, Nadine Houghton, Daisy Goodman, Josephine Tappenden, Bella Favre and Brian Nicholson in the B final for the 200 metres.
While these para-athletes are flying around the bend, Angus Liver was first in the men's 200 metre final, 21.77. Caden Taylor second, 22.14. And Joseph Miller.
Josephine Tappenden on the outside, and on the inside of her is Daisy Goodman. And Josephine will come through over Daisy. Josephine Tappenden taking her second win of the night over Daisy Goodman in second place in the women's B 200 metres. Josephine out of Nelson.
In the women's 200 final, Mia Diaga was first in 25.46. Lee Gedger was second in 25.91. And Michaela Whitty was third, 25.93. Sasha Kuhl was the fourth, 26.44.
Next to throw in the javelin is going on the way, France. Our first round throw was 47.34, and in the order should be followed by Sai Takamoto of Japan.
Josephine Tappenden clocking 26.44. The young Daisy Goodman 26.53. A personal best time for Daisy, and only beaten narrowly tonight. Nadine Houghton third, 28.53. Jana Gui, the French competitor at the javelin there with her latest throw. She finished second at Cook's Gardens last week with a throw just under 53 metres.
We can see that it started to clear just a little bit here, and this is Hugo Jones going for his first attempt at 1.88 m. And that was just a little bit slower in his run-in, so it's pretty hard to produce a lot of power and go up if you aren't maintaining a bit of speed there. So he'll have a second attempt coming up.
Jackson Woolley and Josh Taylor about to run on the para 200 metres.
These para-athletes providing a great 200-metre contest.
Jackson Woolley going very, very strongly as he did earlier on the track over the 100 metres. And Joshua Taylor looking to clock a decent time as well. javelin. Tori Peters 52.66 in the first round, 52.10 her second throw. Sei Tokamoto 49.42 her first round throw, her best so far. Yuka Sato 49.22, 20 centimetres back in third behind her compatriot, and Jenna Agui from France is fourth, 47.34.
So in third place in the women's 200 metres, Michaela Fitty. And in second place, Nini Gray.
You can see a number.
And the winner of the women's 200 metres in a time of 25.46, Mia De Jager.
Chelsea Moananu throwing the javelin, her personal best 40 and 82. Mia De Jager victorious in the 200 metres A race for women a matter of minutes ago, getting her medal at the dais as we look forward to Tori Peters' third throw. Mia Bartlett has thrown 34.66. Alexa Duff 32.48. Chelsea Moananu best to date 31.11. That was just the throw we just saw then. As Tori comes in for her third round throw. Once again, just over the 50-metre mark.
So just back to the men's high jump, we've got Dale Arbuckle standing here, who is waiting to take his jump shortly. We currently have three over the bar at 1.88 m. So we've got Samisoni Hewitt, Rafe, and Mate Padoya.
Mate had a bit of a tune-up on the track earlier, Keely, and looked good.
I know, I did see him running. Was it the 100 metres?
Yeah.
Didn't do too badly. He's just got a few words to himself there. Obviously, either his cues or controlling his breathing before he's starting in his run-up. Oh, and it stays on. He'll be happy with that. It's always a little bit of a nerve-wracking moment when you give the bar a good hit and it shuffles around, but he has managed to get over that on his first attempt, which is a season's best for him so far.
Yuka Sato looking to get the crowd involved. There are a few out there behind the javelin run-up area now, with the rain ceasing for the moment, and crowd getting an opportunity to see some world-class javelin throwers here, including Yuka Sato. Just put that out around the 50-metre mark. Could be close to her best tonight, 49.22 currently.
This is Ben Walker coming in for his first attempt at 1.88 m, and it was a very, very comfortable clearance. And this goes to Hugo Jones' second attempt. And he's done it, so he's managed to get through to the next round. He'll be happy with that and hoping to get a bit closer to where he got to last week, which was at 2 metres and 7.
Left to go, green runner Aguero of France, who is currently in third position. 47.34 in the first round.
Oh, not to be on that jump. And that was a second attempt there for Tia Wynyard. Tia has a PB of 2:01, so he'll definitely have high hopes to be getting over on his third attempt.
Not too far away from the Team Leisure Harcourt's men's 100 metre elite. We've had a couple of defections, but still a very good field to line up. Jonah Agui throwing out there the javelin, but coming up somewhere in the mid-40s, which won't improve on what she has done so far tonight. She's currently sitting in fourth with 47.34.
Few shoes along that runway there, on the Jav runway. They'll be getting pretty wet for when people put them on a bit later. And here we've got Tia's final attempt at 1.88 m. Let's see if he can do it to stay in the competition for today.
Now we're coming up to a 100-metre final series.
That was a much more comfortable jump. He still looked a little bit reserved around his curve, but he managed to pull it together when it counted.
A nice bright smile, and good to see him get that clearance on the third attempt to stay live.
It's always good to see the camaraderie and friendships that are formed off between the field of enters, and I'm sure it happens with the track, but obviously with the field you're out there a bit longer with everyone else, so you get to know people pretty well.
Middleton, lane 5, Cody Wilson from Mana, that great athletic club out in Porirua in lane 6. Iato Gadeto, who's got some good times to his name this year, is in 7, and Joseph Miller, who we've just seen in the 200 metres, is in lane 8. And Caders and Dean Taylor in lane 9. So a full field in the men's A-grade 100 metres going in a few moments.
Back to the javelin, side back on auto.
Mia Bartlett just throwing out there.
Corey Peters leads the field at 52.66 as he comes here into the third round.
Just keeping an eye on the 100. They've just read out a full field of 9 there, so had heard that there would be a couple of scratchings, but hopefully not. Looks like a really good field with Sebastian Ferro listed off the inside. Joe Dolphin, the New Zealand Secondary Schools 100 metre runner, winner. Ron Nume, not sure if he's there. He's listed to be lane 3, won the 200 at the New Zealand Secondary Schools, and he's been sprinting really well. Looked impressive in Hastings.
So the high jump bar's gone up to 1.93 m, and we have the first attempt, which was unfortunately a failure there for Samasoni Hewitt, and he is competing for the New Zealand Secondary Schools team.
Won that competition down there, Keely, when we were commentating with 2:02, and that was a tremendous competition with Hugo Jones in second with 1.99. Hugo, of course, improved since then, as you've been talking, but it was a terrific competition down there.
Yes, definitely. It was a great day for them, and the crowd really got behind everyone, so they would have been feeling all the support to get them over the bars.
Okay, looks like we've got the ball here. I still can't see Rylan Noom down there, but he's listed as starter in lane 3, Tyrone Trago in 4, Troy Middleton 5, Cody Wilson in 6. Martin well represented here in the 4 and the 6. Cody has been in really good form the last 2 weeks. Hayota Yaneto's been running well too. Joseph Miller, and one on the outside, Caden Taylor. So pretty confident Rylan Noom's not there, and nor is Caden Taylor. So lanes 3 and 9 will be vacant. For the senior men's 100 metres, Cody Wilson ran second last week to the Australian visitor Jake Doran, who ran a meet record 10.40. Cody ran 10.61 in a heat of the pots and won that final. He won the 200 wind assisted last week He's in lane number 6 here. Hayato Uneto to his outside, the set. And underway in the 100 metres. Cody Wilson out strongly. Tyrone Traeger out not too badly. Joseph Miller's made a good start. Hayato looking to come through. Joe Dolphin running a good race today as well, but Cody Wilson has kicked through and won. Tight second with Hayato Uneto, Joe Dolphin, and close up to Tyrone Traeger. Troy Middleton not too far away in that finish for the Miners, but Cody Wilson just continuing his outstanding season, winning the Potts Classic, second in the Cooks to Jake Doran, winning the 200 last week and now the 100 tonight, and will get his time shortly. Cody's best at 10 and 52, and he ran 10.61 recently with a decent gust of wind behind him. He did run a legal 10.63 last week at the Cooks when he ran second. That wind dropped in time and became a legal wind.
Just going back here to Adam Stack, this is his opening height at 1.93 meters. He has a PB of 2.08 meters, so he'll definitely be looking to improve on that today. I know from seeing him jumping that he's in really, really good form. So, and he definitely knows it. So it's good that the confidence will be high for these jumps. And as you can see, that was a really lovely jump, very comfortable.
10.57 the time for Cody Wilson, so be delighted with that. Hayato Uneto second, 10.75, and Joe Dolphin close third, 10.77. Tyrone Traeger close fourth, 10.81. Troy Middleton not far away, 10.85. So terrific finish in the men's elite 100 metres. And the women will be coming soon.
Meanwhile, the women's field.
Here's confirmation of that 100-metre final. Cody Wilson posting a season best.
Whose mother was a champion sprinter here at Newtown and a New Zealand champion.
Dale Arbuckle going in for his first attempt at 1.93. He was unsuccessful at that height, and his PB actually is 1.93. So if he gets this, he will be equaling his personal best. So that will be pretty cool. It's awesome at any competition to be attempting a PB, even an equal PB. So he'll be pretty stoked. And that was Mate Padoya over at 1.93 on his first attempt as well. Looking pretty happy about that.
Sasha Kilmister off the inside. I don't see Sasha there. Alessandra Domansky's in lane 2. Neve Getty in lane 3. Livy Wilson in 4. Holly Gray in 5. Talia Van Rooyen in 6. Michaela Fitty in 7. And Daisy Goodman in lane number 8. Don't see Sasha there on the inside, so she may not be with us. Livy Wilson, 31 years of age, 3-time senior third place getter over the 100 metres. Ran 11.51 in a heat of the national champs here last season. She's in lane 4. Talia Van Rooyen, 17-year-old, who has been the youth champion at the Nationals the last 2 years. Ran a quick time at the Oceania Championships back in 2022. Talia's in lane number 6.
A-grade 100 metre final.
So they take the blocks. And underway, Livy Wilson prominent in lane number 4 early. Talia Van Rooyen coming out after her as well. Livy Wilson, though, she's going very strong. She's kicked away from Talia Van Rooyen. And Neve Getty will be home in 3rd place. Livy looking really sharp tonight. Experience over youth at the Capital Classic in the 100 metres elite women's race. Sponsored by Team Leisure Harcourts, the long-standing main sponsor.
She's currently in fourth position. It's very close between fourth and first in the competition. Her best throw is 47.34 in the first round.
They're going to present the medals for the women's shot put.
Dale Arbuckle going in for his second attempt at 193. Ooh, and you can see that he knew that he was close. He's still got one more attempt though in order to be able to get this height.
Just flicked it maybe with the ankles there, or last thing.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of the calf.
These medals being presented by Andrew Rook, the chairman of Athletics Wellington. In second place, 12.86 metres, Haley.
Saw Jonah Agui out there at the javelin, the previous throw.
Ben Walker with the New Zealand secondary school team. He's going in for his second attempt at 193, so he did miss the first height. He was jumping very well last week, so I know that he's always got very high hopes of when he's jumping. He's always striving to beat his best, so he'll be aiming for that today. Whether or not that will be determined within the next jump, so he'll have one more attempt.
So the result of that exciting women's 100 metres A grade 11.92 to Libby Wilson.
So Libby Wilson dips under 12 there, 11.92. Talia Van Rooyen 12.32, and Neve Getty Paraparau just up the road 12.77, claiming third over Michaela Fitty in fourth.
I'll hand over now to my co-announcers. The exciting 3,000 metre championships are coming up, and the weather's not too bad. Look at that wind reading.
Yuka Sato with a no throw at the javelin.
I'm not sure if it's been mentioned on the live stream, but for anyone that's tuning in waiting for the pole vault, we haven't had official confirmation, but it does appear that they have put the covers on the mat. Oh, nice jump there. That was Samisoni Hewitt, so he'll be happy to be going through. And so, yeah, I think that the pole vault competition has been cancelled. We don't have confirmation on that, but it does appear that they've taken everything out and put it back inside.
Great shame. Sei Takamoto, her latest throw in the javelin. And that's sailed out beyond the 50 metre mark. That'll be up with her best, I would imagine, tonight.
And I'll give you that feel in just a moment.
It's got Tia Wynyard here. He's done a few jumps today, and again a very comfortable clearance for him. He's got a couple on his last attempt, so he'll be hoping to get the next one on his first attempt and just conserve a little bit of energy.
And that throw aside Takamoto, 52.78, puts her into a lead. The previous leader is next to throw, our own Tori Peters.
Just back to something earlier. The shot put prior to us coming to air for the para multi-class. Holly Robinson took that out with 11.68, and Holly set a national and Oceania F46 record in Canberra last week with 11.59, and she's extended that earlier with 11.68 as we go back to the javelin and our competition leader Tori Peters. And that could be her best throw of the night. Looking at it land over there, and we'll confirm that for you shortly. She needs to respond because Sei Takamoto's previous throw took her to the lead, 52.78. Reese, 3,000 metre action about to get underway with a B final.
54.50, she's regained the lead again in the 4th round.
And can confirm Tori Peters 54.50, she's back in front, so she's responded to Takamoto's throw of 52.78 immediately with a 54.50.
Getting ready to be called to the mark, just the final check from the...
Yeah, and I think with the men's 3,000 metre field being split into two, we've got 21 athletes in each of the two A and B finals, split based on time. So seed times coming into the event. Shows great depth in the men's middle distance running. That for the national championships, we've got 42 entrants. Really great to see. It gives an opportunity for some of the younger developing athletes to be able to compete. They maybe not be as up to a standard to be up the front competing against the likes of Sam Tanner, but they can get at the B heat here, and it's a bit of a high level competition from where they may have been at the secondary schools champs just back in December.
So the men's B 3,000 metres will come shortly, and drawing ever closer to that 3,000 metre New Zealand Championship tonight with Sam Tanner, Hayden Wild, Julian Oakley among others. William Little in there, David Lee, they both ran excellent miles at Cook's Gardens last week. And of course the women's 3,000 metre championship as well. Annika Arledge, a notable defection there. Holly Tillier bringing in some pretty good form out of Cook's Gardens last week, and looks a leading threat. And that as the men's B final gets underway.
Yeah, there's a couple of young athletes in here. Cameron Maunder, there'll be a number of people probably expecting him to be in the A race. I'm going to keep an eye out and see if he is there. I think he's out on the outside there in the black strip. He's one of the faster athletes in the field. But last year or so he's had some health issues, and it's great to see him back competing. We saw him beating the Cook's Classic Mile just last week, but having a pretty tough day out. First race back, so great to see him out in this field, and we'll keep an eye on and see how he goes. Athlete from Wellington Harriers leading out so far.
Leading the bunch is Lorcan Rebet, who won the 3,000 dash for cash last week at the Cook's Gardens, where they had the opportunity to win cash for leading at various points, but Lorcan did the good thing and was able to lead throughout and ran extremely well.
Which is actually a qualifier for the Paris Paralympics. Holly Robinson.
Holly Robinson just receiving her medal in the middle here, just mentioned her result, and does qualify her, we hear, for the Paris Paralympics.
Adam Stack comfortably over his next height at 1.98 m.
Liam Chesley leads this race through. A good margin from Lorcan Rebet.
He seems pretty happy about that. He'll have all his family tuning in back home.
This is Tori Peters' best throw to date, 54.50 in round number 4, which had her regain the lead after it was snatched from her briefly. Liam Chesney currently leading the 3,000 metre B race by quite some margin, Reece, so tearaway tactics here. He's confident enough to open up a large break on the pack here, who at this stage, no panic.
Yeah, and I did say earlier about how the large number of entries does create this opportunity for some of the slower athletes to get some competition in a slightly slower race. Unfortunately, in Liam's case, he is one of those bubble athletes where he not quite enough to make the A race, but clearly one of the favourite athletes for this, and he's decided he doesn't want to muck around. He wants to go out there and maybe show that he deserved a start in that A race, set himself up for later in the season for some good racing at Nationals.
Jonah Agui with her latest throw. The French woman just out of the placings at the moment. She's lying 4th after finishing 2nd at the Cooks last week. Cameron Maunders moved through to 2nd in the 3,000 metres, and Lorcan Rebet just off the back of him, leading up that pack about 50 metres behind Liam Chesney at the moment.
Back at the high jump, we've had 2 clear so far, Adam Stack and Rafe Quio. And this is Mate Padoya, who is going in for his first attempt at 1.98 m. Oh, lovely. He'll be happy with that because he's maintaining his first attempt clearance streak. But he'll definitely have a big think about the little things that he'll need to refine if he wants to get over the next height, which he's definitely capable of.
Very grateful that you're here, Keely, because the men's high jump tonight, the trickiest for names, without any question.
Sorry, what was that? I didn't quite catch that.
Just saying, I'm glad you're here tonight because the men's high jump field is the trickiest for names by quite some margin, and you're doing outstandingly well.
Oh yes, well, I did actually go and ask a few people how to pronounce their name earlier, because I know their first names, but I'm not quite so good with the last name. So apologies if I am still pronouncing incorrectly.
Yuka Sato with her latest throw at the javelin.
Cameron Wanda from the secondary school tour follows it through. There's Walton Abbott at Victoria University. Much improved Tom Strawbridge is also up there, and Max Taylor is the third Victoria University runner.
So Liam Chesney from Wellington Harriers still leading in this 3,000 metre B race. Coming around with 3 laps remaining, 1,200 metres remaining. Athlete to watch in the second pack, currently in 6th place. The young athlete there, second youngest in the field, Desmond Reddy in the black and white strip from Olympic Harriers. New Zealand Secondary School's Year 9 champion just a couple of years ago. Certainly one of the upcoming athletes, along with his teammate Logan Hoffler from Olympic Harriers, who's just at the start of that 3rd pack.
So we've got Samisoni Hewitt here. He has had 1 failure at 1.98, so this is his 2nd round attempt.
That'll be going ahead at 8, and we'll be announcing the line-up closer to the time.
He looks like he's just waiting a little bit, just could be for the wind. It has actually died down. I can't see much of a wind, strong wind at the moment. The windsock's pretty relaxed.
Walton Rabbit back into 2nd place.
Not quite to be at this height so far. He does have 1 more attempt.
Some young runners, little known at this level.
Here's Tori Peters, round number 5, 54.50, her best so far today. Good enough to have her in the lead here at the Capital Classic.
Maybe wind that we're not able to tell. The windsock over at the triple jump is bouncing around at present, whereas the one at the high jump is not.
Another throw comfortably clear over 54 metres, but probably less than her first appearance of the season. Tori with a massive season ahead, looking to qualify for the Paris Olympics. 64 metres, the automatic qualification there, which is 74 centimetres more than her national record.
We've got 2nd attempt here for Tia Wynyard. And just coming down on it a little bit.
And his brother Pye's out on the track at the moment, Pye Wynyard in the 3,000 metres.
Followed by Lawton Haddon of Victoria University, Lawton Rabbit, who won over this distance in the Fox Classic.
As they're going past to receive 1 lap to go, it's Liam Chesney leading from the 3 athletes from Victoria University. That's Lorcan Rabeat, Max Taylor and Joshua Fitzgerald running well. I believe the athlete behind them is Nick Dobie from Egmont in the yellow strip. Cameron Maunder from Auckland, as we spoke about a little bit earlier. Great to see him back competing on the track and running well tonight. And the next young athlete in the black and white strip from Olympic Harriers is Desmond Reddy, former New Zealand Secondary School's Year 9 champion. But it's Liam Chesney from Wellington Harriers. He went out fast from the beginning. He's actually not going to be far off his personal best here. He's coming in with a personal best of 8 minutes 35. He's coming into the home straight now. And the 3 Victoria University runners behind him are storming down the home straight. But Liam Chesney from Wellington Harry is a good, strong front-running performance. And although the rain has stopped, it's wet underfoot, it's tough running out there by yourself. He's come home just over 2 seconds outside his personal best. So Liam Chesney will be pretty happy with that performance. The athletes from Victoria University, followed by Egmont Athletics, Cameron Maunder.
Lorcan Repeat second and Tom Strawbridge third there on the Victoria University singlets. Lorcan backing up his impressive win last week. And another good run from Tom.
There we go. There's so many Victoria University athletes out there. We missed the Tom Strawbridge as he came through. So great to see the representation from the university runners.
Mia Bartlett with her latest throw. That'll be around 6 for Mia.
And we've had the lights just come on here at Newtown Park. Makes Mia's shoes look like the bananas on her feet. They're so bright.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. They're actually new lights, I think, from my understanding. So I've had a few people say you'd be happy to know that there's new lights out there.
Yeah, well, fortunately it was a training ground for the Women's World Cup. And seats have been painted since we were last there too, Reece.
Oh, the beauty of investment into women's sports and the benefits it has for the rest of us. But no, it was great. I think one of the first events that we were able to make use of those lights was the New Zealand 10,000 metre champs here in November, I mentioned earlier. And look, it was great as the athletes are coming around with those lights coming on. And it does make a different atmosphere. It also allows the events to run later into the evening when we know in Wellington the wind does drop. It has certainly happened this evening, a little bit earlier than normal.
Yes, definitely. And here we've got Tia Wynyard, and that was his, I believe, his 3rd attempt. So he will exit the competition. And we did see before Samisoni Hewitt, who also exited the competition at 1.98 m.
Jonah Agui lining up for her final throw. She's currently lying in 4th with 48.60. This last throw might extend that. It's not far off the 50-metre mark there from Jonah. She might have finished with her best. She needs to get to 49.22 to take 3rd off Yuka Sato, who's sitting there at this stage with that mark. Sei Takamoto 52.78, and Tori Peters, her 5th round throw was 54.79, adding 29 centimetres to her best for the night.
This is Ben Walker's final attempt at 1.98 m as well. Unfortunately, was a miss for Ben today. But hopefully he'll be able to rug up and get pretty warm now. Definitely will be getting cool out there with the sun going down as well. You can see that Adam's got a blanket on. It's a very common occurrence between high jumpers and some of the other field eventers just to stay warm.
Bruce, we come to the 3,000 metre Senior Women's National Championship here. Annika Arledge, a notable defection here, but Tilly Hollier has been running in some very good form, be a leading candidate here as we look at the field for the Women's Open 3000.
Yeah, absolutely. And great to see Ava Sutherland looking as though she's going to be backing up from that good junior mile run a little earlier. Ava Sutherland, one of the athletes just recently named in the New Zealand cross-country team to represent New Zealand at the World Cross Country Champs in March this year. An athlete we've just seen running Lorcan Repeat from Victoria University. We won those athletes in that junior men's race as well. I think we've got about 5 athletes competing tonight that are part of that New Zealand squad to compete at the World Cross Country Champs.
Yuka Sato has completed her final javelin. Sorry, Kelly.
No, I was just about to say the exact same thing. She put her foot in front of the line, so she obviously wasn't very happy about that.
She'll finish third, and Sei Takamoto now looking to pull out something to challenge Tori Peters' 54.79.
And Cameron Maunder from famous official stock and also the New Zealand secondary schools team ran 8:53.51, a season best, in 6th place. On now to the women's 3,000 metres, just gathering ready to start.
Looks like we have Roman Anastasios, who is entering the competition. So he is from Australia, competing for Melbourne University Athletics. Has a personal best of 2.21 meters. And I will be able to tell you the height that he's entering at in shortly.
Looks like Ava Sutherland taking the early lead.
Yeah, just confirming some entries as we go through this. She wasn't on our original entry list, but great to see she's starting in the senior women's 3,000 metre race. Tilly Hollier right behind her, another athlete that's competing for the relatively new club on the New Zealand scene, the Whippets running club. She ran 9:25 at the Lovelock Classic just a couple of weeks ago to kick off her 2024 season.
That was Roman Anastasios, and he came in at 2.03 meters. And we did see Tori Peters throw just before, and have not got the official confirmation, but it did look like it was a little bit further. Yeah, 56.53 was that throw for Tori, so that was the best throw for her in her series tonight, and it happened on the final round. Now we go to Adam Stack on his first attempt at 2.03 meters. Not to be on that first attempt, that is his first miss for the night.
Eva Pringle's running third. So this is still Ava Sutherland doing a pace-taking job out in front. Tilly Hollier in second. Eva Pringle third.
So our leading four athletes there, Ava Sutherland, the youngster there that's heading off to the World Cross Country Champs later in the year. Tilly Hollier from Whippets Running Club. Eva Pringle, looks as though she's also in a Whippet strip, in the black Whippet strip. And in fourth place, just behind them, Sasha Ledeker from Takapuna, also running well.
Someone has failed to front. James Hanson or Cooper Whiteman meet Kerry Hill or Judy by the start-finish line. Thank you.
So the leading three athletes there, Ava Sutherland and Tilly Hollier.
And Mate Padoya going in for his first attempt at 2.03 meters. He looked a little bit more reserved in that jump compared to some of the other ones, but he's still got two more.
So Ava Sutherland running up the track there, setting the pace early over the first kilometre. Tilly Hollier and Eva Pringle now left clear. Sasha Ledeker and Liliana Braun leading the second pack.
Yeah, not surprising. Great move for Ava if she wasn't feeling the best at the front there after a good run in the junior mile just an hour or so ago. Sensible move to step off and leave those senior athletes to fight it out for this senior women's national 3,000 metre title. Tilly Hollier leading from Eva Pringle.
And Adam Stack going in for his second attempt at 2 metres and 3. And that was much more intentful, and he's pretty happy with that.
Looked to have a bit to spare there, Kelly.
With a lot to spare, definitely. Like I said earlier, he's looking in really good condition, so it's just kind of a matter of time for him to be popping out some pretty big heights.
Confirmation of Tori Peters winning with 56.53, season's best, because she's just opened her season here tonight, but she did steadily improve throughout the competition. 52.78, Sai Takamoto and Yuka Sato third, the Japanese competitors second and third. 49.22, and the French competitor Jonah Agui at 48.60, and the second of the New Zealanders in Mia Bartlett with 36.19. That was the Team Ledger Harcourts women's javelin.
And that was Rafe Queo, who got over 2 metres and 3. So he will be going through to the next round, where it will be above his personal best. So if he gets the next height, it will be a PB. And we have Mate Padoya going in for his second attempt. Oh, and he just put his arm down a little bit there. Something you don't want to happen, something I'm a little bit guilty of sometimes, but it's definitely not the most ideal thing, because it doesn't really give you an opportunity to even get up over the bar.
Tilly Hollier and Eva Pringle coming down the front straight, and Eva's going to take up the pacemaking, coming through in front of us, 5:48.
Change in front as Pringle takes over with 3 laps to run, and a change in the following group as Poppy Martin at Lake City takes over 3rd place. This is the New Zealand
as we actually see come through now into 3rd place, Poppy Martin, another athlete who is coached by Jason Cameron, who will be one of the team managers for the World Cross Country team heading off to the World Champs. Poppy part of that team out of Lake City Club in Rotorua.
Sasha Ledecker 4th, and 5th there Liliana Braun.
Yeah, a number of these athletes with times between that 9:30 to 9:50 kind of range, so going to get an eye on time. They went through 2K on the last lap. So they're coming down with just over 800 metres remaining. Eva Pringle leading from Tilly Hollier.
It's Eva Pringle and Tilly Hollier, both from the wickets running point.
Poppy Martin 3rd, then Sasha Ledecker and Liliana Braun in 5th. Looks like they should fight out the medals. There's a gap then of about 40 metres back to a bigger pack.
Yeah, and Tilly Hollier certainly coming in with the pedigree over the shorter distances. 800 and 1500 metre gold at the Pacific Games in 2023. She ran a 2:08.800 at the Night of Fives back in December.
And that was a final attempt for Mate Padoya at 2 metres and 3.
Tilly ran her personal best 3000 at the Lovelock Classic last month in a 9:25 and 54. Finished a really good 3rd in the mile at Cook's Gardens last week behind Rebecca Aikenhead and Laura Nagel.
Putting in 6th place, looking very strong. It's a very much an improved athlete. Done some mountain running for New Zealand, but this is her first season on the track.
John, the half bar will go to 2 metres 8. We have 4 left in the competition.
Okay, coming down with 500 metres remaining in this women's 3,000 metre championship. They're actually moving along pretty well. We might be seeing some, well, close to a personal best. And certainly with Tilly Hollier moving through 60 seconds away from what would be her personal best, so she might be just outside that, but Eva Pringle coming in with a personal best there of 9:45. So for her, it's certainly pushing the boundaries of that time. Poppy Martin.
And then Sasha Ledecker.
Followed by Sasha Ledecker.
Tilly Hollier opening up a big break though on Eva Pringle in the back straight. And she's heading for a 3,000 metre national title. A strong last lap, Reece.
Yeah, absolutely. She's won that in style, I think. Last 500 metres, really strong move. She knew she would have the wheels, coming off some recent good performances over the shorter distances. Just about outside her personal best, but great tactical run and a really strong performance there from Tilly Hollier from the Whippets Running Club. And a personal best in second place there for Eva Pringle. So she'll be happy taking out that silver medal in the New Zealand Senior Women's Championship. And Poppy Martin, the youngster there, showing she's in great form as she's getting ready for the World Champs in just under 2 months. And Sasha Ledeka and Liliana Braun wrapping up that top 5. So Poppy Martin, another good example of a secondary schools athlete getting the opportunity to wear that New Zealand strip, compete against the top New Zealand senior woman.
We've got Roman Anastasios, and he is comfortably over his first attempt at 2 metres and 8. And next up to jump will be Adam Stack, which will be, there we go, there he is, which will be an equal personal best if he makes this. Ooh, not a bad nudge. Couple of shorter strides thrown in there, but he'll definitely know what to work on for his next attempt.
Interesting to see when Joel Baden will make his way into the competition.
Yeah, I could imagine it might be the next height or the height after. He did do a 2:24 last weekend back in Australia, so he's in really good shape. So he'll be coming in pretty shortly, especially with the cold. And that was a failure there from Rafe Quio, and that was his first attempt.
I was lucky enough to witness Hamish Kerr's 2:31, which was a national record at the time here at the Capital Classic, and then the following year we're obviously expecting a lot of him. I can't remember exactly the height that he came in, but we were away at another event at the time. When we come back, he'd actually missed all 3 attempts at the top height and he got out of the competition, so the highs and the lows a year apart for Hamish Kerr here at the Capital.
Definitely a sport of highs and lows in all events. So, and here we go. He has actually entered the competition at 2:08, going in for his first attempt. This is Joel Baden from Australia, competing for Melbourne University Athletics, and he has a personal best of 2 metres and 33. That was a very easy clearance there for Joel, and he'll be happy to get the first one over and done with, especially been waiting out there for the last hour or so in that cold weather.
In 9:31.45. Eva Pringle, second, 9:37.
And Reece, the field up for the 3,000 metre New Zealand Championship men's shortly. They're just warming up in the back there. The earlier race saw Liam Chesney win outstandingly well. Here is the back half of that field. If you're looking through for someone, Pi Wynyard there finishing a season best, just a tick over 9 minutes. There's a big field for the B final, and another big field coming up for the A final as we get back to the high jump.
This is Adam Stack's second attempt at an equal personal best. He's not doing some bad attempts, but he'll be itching to get back up there and get it in personal best and have a crack at the next height.
Got the shot put underway as well, and Liam Wolf in the circle. Looking forward to seeing what Nick Palmer can do tonight. He's currently 5th on the all-time list with his 1976 from the Potts Classic. Won again last week in Wanganui, although took under 19 metres last week for Nick.
Got Rafe Quio coming in for his second attempt at 2 metres and 3. And that looked a little bit painful landing on the bar. Sometimes they can break, but fortunately he obviously didn't get in a spot that was going to happen. But they've Rafe Quio and Adam Stack both have one more attempt.
Field up there, Reese, for the A final, and again, the men that we're looking forward to see, obviously Sam Tanner spearheading the field, but the winner of the title the last 2 years has been Julian Oakley. Sam, the winner back in 2021, and of course, 3-time 5,000 metre national champion Hayden Wild in here as well.
Yeah, look, it's actually a really, really good field on paper. I think Julian Oakley, it will be interesting to see how he goes. As you said, 2-time defending champion.
And Adam Stack, final attempt. Oh, so close. He knew that he had that there, so he'll be a little bit gutted, but considering the conditions in the cold, he'll, you know, recap, have a chat with his coach James Sandilands, and look forward to the next one.
But yeah, the training group there, Julian Oakley, Sam Tanner, Hayden Wild, great to see him back on the track. And look, there's some up-and-comers coming through. William Little, he's got a personal best, I think it's personal best. Let me just check, it's one of the things I hadn't written down.
He took a bronze in the men's mile last week, off to the World Cross Country shortly.
Yeah, so he's coming in with a best there of 8:10, which is just outside what those top athletes have done, but should have him in the mix for those medals. And like you said, off to World Cross Country, he's the only senior man being selected for the championships this year.
David Lee ran a big mile coming off the back of injury last week at Cooks as well, finishing ultimately getting the silver medal.
Yeah, and he's coming off second place in the New Zealand Cross Country Champs last year, so we know he's got the strength if things tick over. But it's Hayden Wild.
And then a really strong group of athletes from the school of Sam McLean, coach in Christchurch. 2 of them performed really well over the
So Hayden Wild, Sam Tanner and Julian Oakley as they head down that back straight.
Proper distance here of 3,000 metres.
And if I can pick my athletes right from this far away, it looks like Will Little currently in 4th. Oh no, there we go, Julian Oakley popping his head in there in 5th position in the green strip from Tauranga.
Just a quick note, Nick Palmer's in good shape at the shot put. He's pulled out a 1951 to lead that competition. Of course, he's aiming to become the 3rd New Zealander to break the 20-metre mark, is Nick.
Triathlete Hayden Wild, preparing, of course, for Paris. And that's William Little, one of the Sam McLean athletes from Christchurch, or he's actually based in Auckland now. Very much improved.
So back to the field now, and out the front we do actually have Liam Lamb. So it's Liam Lamb leading from Sam Tanner. Hayden Wild there in 3rd position. William Little in 4th. Julian Oakley in 5th. Matthew Taylor, former New Zealand Cross Country champion, there in 6th position. And we're expecting to see James Corbett in the mix there as well, so we'll try and figure out which athlete James is as he comes around.
That was Nick Palmer in the shot put circle. He did do a PB last week, sorry, maybe the week before at Potts Classic. So he'll be looking to extend on that and get close to the 20-metre mark.
I'd say he's not too far away with that throw, actually. That put, Keely, it's always difficult when you're this far away, and sometimes it looks further than it is, but it'd certainly be well in the 19s there.
So we've run through those athletes in that first pack. That hasn't changed. We're just trying to identify, there's 3 athletes in white strip running for the Whippets Club that are in the second pack, just in behind Julian Oakley, not far off that leading pack at the moment. I believe that's a pack that includes Russell Green, possibly David Lee.
I believe the bar has gone up to 2:13. So this will be Roman Anastasios' first attempt at this height. Oh, and just, you can see the frustration. He just clipped it off with the back of his heels.
Santana, Hayden Wild were comfortable. William Little really going for it in this race. Really upper class.
So Liam Lamb at the front there, he's got a personal best of 8:13 from a couple of years ago. He hasn't been on that kind of form since 2001, but he came out just last week at the Cook's Classic and ran 4:04. He took home 7th place, so there was a lot of guys in front of him, but a 4:04 mile for a guy that's run 8:13 over 3,000 is going to make him pretty dangerous and in the hunt for those medals as it comes down to the finish. They're coming down to 1,200 metres, 1,300 metres remaining at the moment. Sam Tanner, Hayden Wild, Will Little. That's your leading 3. Liam Lamb just dropping off.
Hayden Wild, William Little.
And he looks as though he's stepping out, maybe having just done the pace work at the front for those leading athletes.
That leaves 3 clear, and David Lee leading the second pack of 5.
Julian Oakley follows that bunch.
David Lee there currently in 4th place. Another one of the Sam McLean trained athletes from down in Christchurch.
The way we saw him finish the mile at Wellington last week shows he's got plenty of reserve.
4:02 for the mile last week at Cook's Classic for David.
It does appear that Joel Baden has passed this height, and it is, to clarify, it is 2:12, not 2:13, as I mentioned before. And so we've got a second attempt for Roman Anastasios. He'll be looking to get over this because he was really close to the last one. Oh, and again, he's hit it with his calves this time. Last jump he hit it with his heels.
Little much improved, really going for it today. Aiming for a level above what he's achieved before, and this is very fast race.
As action heads back to the track, it's Sam Tanner starting to stretch things out. Hayden Wild, the only one that's able to hang with him at the moment. William Little. He ran 29:14 at the Zatopek Classic over 10,000 metres just over 2 months ago.
6:21 the time. But they're speeding up. This could well be a negative split race, and this could well take us down under the 3,000 metre meet record.
So this meet record for the 3,000 metres here, 7:53.41, set by Rory Hunter from Australia. Sam Tanner, he's going to have to run a 61-second last lap. Sam Tanner, after his 3:55 mile just last week at the Cook's Classic, is certainly capable of that. He's run 3:31 over 1,500 metres.
Sam Tanner really beginning to stretch it out.
But Hayden Wild still running strong in second place. Will Little doing everything he can. He wants that silver medal at this National 3,000 metre Championships. There's a big battle going on back further in the field for the 4th position. But it's Sam Tanner. He gets 200 metres remaining.
Meet record is 7:53.
He's doing what that bodysuit was designed to do. He's starting to wind up in the last 200 metres. He wants to look like a sprinter. I'm sure that was Craig Kirkwood's doing, making him turn up and run in the brand new Puma sprint suit tonight. But he's coming down to the line. He looks as though he's going to be well under that meet record. He is. We're going to call it there at about 7 minutes 50, 3 seconds under the meet record set by the Australian Rory Hunter just a couple of years ago. Second place to Hayden Wild, also dipping under 8 minutes. William Little just outside the 8-minute mark, but he'll be extremely happy with that performance.
That was a very comfortable clearance there by Roman Anastasios. That was a third attempt clearance, so he'll be happy to be going through to the next height. The heights that I do have on front of me are slightly different from what that height was, so I will update you as soon as I have the confirmed next height. And Joel Baden will be entering back into the competition after passing.
And a PB there for Sam Tanner over 3,000 metres. You wouldn't think for a guy that's been to the Olympics and run 3:31 that he could be setting personal bests here at the Capital Classic, but 7:50-ish, 7:51, and coming in there with a personal best of 7:54. So he'll be pretty stoked with that personal best. He goes in for the share of the record prize money here tonight, $4,000 on offer to be shared between the athletes who break Capital Classic records. William Little certainly showing the reason for his selection for that World Cross Country team. He's been in really, really good form. He ran 13:50 at the Night of Fives just back in December up in Auckland. An excellent meet that they run up there for the last few years. And coming off of that, and he's dropped almost 10 seconds off his personal best there over 3,000 metres tonight, so he'll be pretty stoked with that. And Hayden Wild, only 4 seconds outside his best. 7:55 PB for him, coming in about 7:59 tonight. And there we go, official results up on the screen for the women's 3,000 metres. Tilly Hollier taking out the New Zealand Senior Women's 3,000 metre Championship for 2024. Time of the year of 9:31. Eva Pringle with a really strong run in second place. Poppy Martin, the youngster there, in third. Well, a name there, many of you may not be familiar to see, Kamiko Otani from Japan. She's a 15:31 runner. She's moved to New Zealand recently and looking to get back into some good running form, so we hope to see her competing on the domestic scene here in New Zealand as she gets back into some good running form.
You may be able to hear just in the background, we have got a mic down a bit further closer towards the track, so apologies if you hear a little bit of background noise.
So down here with me, ladies and gentlemen, I've got Sam Tanner. Sam, great final stages of your 3,000 metre New Zealand Championship there. You've taken a meet record, so you get a share of the team ledger, $4,000 bonus for meet records tonight. How was that?
How many records have been broken, Tony?
I think there's been 4, Sam, so we'll need to check that. There's a few field events going on still.
That's great. No, it was a good night. Wellington, you know what they say, can't be Wellington on a good day, and the afternoon picked it up perfectly, so it was an awesome race. Yeah,
so what were you thinking earlier today when the wind was there and the rain, and now we've got pretty perfect conditions almost under lights for distance running?
I was thinking it'd be a good day to break 9 minutes, to be honest.
Well, early in the race, I thought, well, you guys are going to be struggling to break 8 minutes with the pace, but it was steady and nice and smooth, but you really picked it up, so you're in great nick.
Yeah, thanks. It was good to have Lammy just help us out a little bit for the first opening laps, but yeah, form's coming along nicely, so thanks for having me.
And in behind you tonight, we had your triathlon training partner, Hayden Wild, but he's performing really well. Were you ever conscious of him coming up behind you, or are you confident of your kick there?
It's always interesting racing Hayden, especially over anything about a mile or so. But he clipped me with like 2 laps to go. I was like, oh, Hayden's feeling good, so I better start to put the pressure on a little bit.
Well, really great run, and so you picked up the New Zealand Mile Championships at the Cook's Gardens last week, the 3,000 Championships this week. What's next for you?
The 800 Championship.
We'll see you back here in March. Well done.
Cool, thanks, Tony.
Let's just say before we go to the 800 that Sam Tanner did indeed set the meet record in 7:50.26.
Okay, we've got the women's 800 metres
Next on the track, we have the women's
lined up, ready to go.
final. This should be a cracker. We've got Sophia Lumberis, lane 1, Rosie Twyford, Paige Stengel, Stella Peerless, Poppy Healy, Chloe Hughes, Holly Manning. She won the New Zealand 800 metre champs a couple of years ago and is in good form. Cara McDermott, Emma Berry, Paige Dobson and Lucy Hanna.
Okay, so a full field here, combination of the women's B and A race. Double up in a couple of lanes. Holly Manning competed over in the States, returns now and back competing again for Hastings Athletics. And the athlete to watch here, personal best coming in 2:03. So Cara McDermott and with the short hair in the middle there, currently in about 6th. Also another athlete to watch. So it looks like it's Holly Manning as they head through 200 metres in.
Holly Manning leading out, number 577. Sophia Lumberis is sitting in 2nd. Running from New Zealand School, she's doing well.
And it looks like it's a Rosa Twyford who has made the move on the outside as they came around with 1 lap remaining.
Successful there at 2 metres 16. And Joe Baden, who passed the last night under a bit of pressure for his 2nd try.
So down the back and Holly Manning leading, Sophia Lumbreris and Rosa Twyford.
Holly Manning doing a bit of a Steve Prefontaine, taking it out early. She was 2nd recently at the Potts Classic.
So Holly Manning still running strong as she comes into the home straight.
Rosa Twyford giving chase and Sophia Lumbreris and Cara McDermott finishing well too. Holly Manning at around 2:08 over Rosa Twyford. Sophia Lumbreris, Cara McDermott home in 4th spot.
And young Paige 5th.
And the youngster there, Sophia, that will be very close to a personal best for her. She'll be happy to be running so close to those senior athletes.
The A and B women's races being combined after a few defections tonight. 1 or 2 people unable to make it with weather complications, although we've got the best of the conditions right now.
So thank you very much to Mike and Team Leisure and the women's javelin. And 3rd place from Japan, Yuku Sato.
Men's 800 metres will be next up on the track, and over at the high jump, Joel Baden over 2:16 at his 2nd attempt. Confirmation there, Sam Tanner meeting record 7:50.26 over Hayden Wild, 7:57.47, and William Little doing well to break 8 minutes for the first time.
Oh, look at those athletes, they'll be pretty happy. Look at the list of personal best there behind. Russell Green, 8:06, David Lee, 8:06 as well.
Congratulations, women's javelin.
And all the way down the field there, Daniel Sinclair also running personal best.
The 3,000 metre place winners
have Roman Anastasios. This is his first attempt at 2 meters 20, I believe. He did clear 2 meters 16, as did Joel Baden. Very comfortably as well.
First 208.59. Rosa Twyford second 209.47. Sophia Lumberis 209.57 in third. Well done all.
And just an update from the zoo in the Nikau Cafe men's shot put. We're in the 5th round, but at halfway, coming in 3rd is Harrison McGregor, number 2, Liam Narchok-Wolf, and 1st is Nick Palmer.
And up on the screen there we see our men's 800 metre start list. Our 3 favourite athletes there, the 2 Australians, Riley Bruce and Luke Shaw, coming in with personal bests of 149 and 147. They're the class act here in this field. Benjamin Wall from New Zealand, not far off them, 1 minute 50. So he'll be hoping to be able to stick on the 2 Australians as long as possible. No James Preston here tonight after a stunning 145.8 just a couple of weeks ago.
Riley Bryce, Benjamin Wall, Lex Lewis, Liam O'Donnell, Luke Shaw, Cooper Whiteman, Joe Martin, Joseph Morgan.
So the youngster Liam O'Donnell as well, we're looking for an opportunity to tag on these front runners. But it's the 2 Australians as they clear out after 300 metres. Yeah, it's Liam O'Donnell and Riley Bruce in that second pack.
So Lex Revel-Lewis, the national 400 metre champion, pacing them through the first 400, maybe 600. Maybe he thinks he can go the whole way. And he pulls out at the 600. Lex Revel-Lewis, he's done his job.
So it's Luke Shaw out the front from Australia. And Riley Bruce and Benjamin Wall.
Coming home, he might get it close to the meet record, 148.3.
Luke Shaw, visiting Australian.
And an excellent run from Cooper Whiteman to come home for 3rd place there from Selwyn. The youngster, 16 years old. He's got a personal best of 152, so he was always in the mix there for a top performance. We'll wait to get those official results and see what the time was.
So Luke Shaw around about the 150
So with me
mark.
here, I've got Tori Peters. Tori, you took out the women's javelin tonight. You're in a big training phase. We had wind, we had rain, and now you had no wind really when the javelin went on, but very slippery conditions.
Yeah, bit of a variety out there tonight, but I guess that's athletics for you. Rain, hail or shine, we're out here, so it's, you got to put up with what you got out there, and everyone's dealing with the same conditions. So challenging today, but still lots of positives to take out of it tonight.
So you had 2 young Japanese women there who were taking the lead early on to put a bit of pressure on you from a competitive point of view, which I'm sure that was great for you anyway.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's just really awesome to have some international competition here in New Zealand, and it's not something that is that common, I guess, to have internationals come over to our meet. So it's awesome to have them here, and they're going to be here for a little while longer, which is nice. So we're looking to accommodate them and look after them while they're here, and hopefully they tell their friends and everyone comes back. So yeah.
Well, congratulations on your win tonight. It wasn't quite the meet record that you hold, but it was another good performance and your first up for the season.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Tony. And just want to say thanks to all the sponsors as well of the competition. It's always a great meet, and we really enjoy coming to the Capital Classic. So thank you.
Luke Shaw's time, 150 and change there in the 800 metres. For a moment looked like he might be able to go close to the meet record, 148 and a bit, 150.59 he's come up with over Riley Bruce and Cooper Whiteman, an outstanding run in third place.
Results from the men's 800, Luke Shaw, Australia 150.59, Riley Bryce, Australia 151.85, and third, so the first Kiwi tonight, Cooper Whiteman, PB.
And before we head back to that men's high jump, as Joel Baden is coming up to jump, we see those men's 3,000 metre results again. Sam Tanner taking out that national championship for the second time for him. One more year and he'll join a crew. I think there's 4 others who have 3,000 metre championships to their names. So Julian Oakley is going to have to come back in 2023 and the two of them go at it to see who can win their third 3K championship. But once again, just seeing the number of personal best and season's best set in that 3,000 metre championship. And great to see Hayden Wild and William Little both dipping under that 8-minute barrier.
Do have Roman Anastasios here. This is his third attempt at 2 metres 20. He had a very close second attempt. So hopefully that's given him a bit of confidence to know that he can get over this bar. And Joel Baden did go clear at 2 metres 20. Not to be tonight, but a really solid jumping sequence there for the Australian who's visiting, and a close to his personal best there. So he jumped 2 metres 16 and he was attempting 2 metres 20 and his personal best is 2 metres 21. So getting up there, attempting close to his PB height. And that leaves Joel Baden in the as the only high jumper left in the competition.
And we're seeing the women's 800 metres there up on the screen. Holly Manning with a good strong finish there, 2:08.59. Rosa Twyford also with a good finish, 2:09. And Sophia Lumbreras, the youngster there, 2:09.57.
And the New Zealand champion for 3,000 metres in a very smart time of 9 minutes 31, Tilly Hollier. So well done, females. Now for male counterparts, the place that is in the male 3,000 metres can also come out. We'll do your wheels as well.
We're just going back to the high jump here. We've got Joel Baden making his comfortable clearance at 2 metres 20 there. So they're just setting up the height now to go to the next height, which will be around 2:24, unless Joel has made any changes and decided to go higher.
And there we go. Confirmation there of the time for Luke Shaw. Certainly off his best. Also same for Riley Bryce. But they'll be happy to come to the Capital Classic and take out first and second here in this men's 800. Cooper Whiteman with a very strong finish and managed to come home there with a personal best, 152.24. And the last event on the track, sponsored by Whitby Collegiate, the mixed 4x400. And as we have seen here before at the Capital Classic, an opportunity, once the last track event is finished, to be able to dedicate our attention to the high jump as it finishes up. And we'll get to see some great jumping from Joel Baden, I'm sure, over the next few minutes. But it's the mixed 4x400.
The New Zealand Secondary Schools A team out in the outside lane there that have started strongly. There's a New Zealand Secondary Schools B team on the inside and a mixed Mana team as well in the mixed 400 metre relay, which Reese are really in vogue, it seems, at international competitions now.
Oh, absolutely. For anyone who has seen the mixed events at the World Championships, the baton changes and the tactics involved and the changes in positions from those top teams, it just makes for such a spectacle to watch. It's amazing.
The first baton change coming, 4x400, and the New Zealand Secondary Schools A team leading the B team, and the Mana team setting off in pursuit in this mixed relay. And the women's leg, second leg. As they head down the back straight, and we draw towards a conclusion of the 20th anniversary edition of the Team Leger Harcourt's Capital Classic. Still got the high jump going. Joel Baden just missing at his latest attempt there, Keeley, but he certainly looked in the ballpark.
Yeah, definitely. And if you remember his 220 clearance as well, like it was a really lovely clearance. I know that he'll be aiming for the meet record is held by Brandon Stark, and that is of 2:31. And so I know that he'll be wanting to try and beat his Aussie counterparts. We're just getting confirmation that that was actually a 2:27 attempt from Joel Baden, so he did pass at 2:24.
Okay, so 2:27 the bar at there on the high jump, which is what Hamish Kerr achieved last weekend at Cook's Gardens in Wanganui. The New Zealand Secondary Schools A team on their third leg. Mana worked their way through to second after a rough change for the secondary schools team, but they're making up for lost time very quickly here on the third leg.
My apologies, actually. I've just realised that I said that 2:31 was Brandon Stark had that record. It was actually New Zealand's own Hamish Kerr that had that record, and he set it in 2021.
Brendan Stark has been here, though. You will have remembered him being out here. Looks like his brother Mitchell, the cricketer.
Yes,
and
he does, and I think that was the first time I had seen someone jump actually like really high in real life, when I saw him jump here.
Onto the final leg in the mixed relay, which is the last track event of the night. Also the men's shot put continuing. Can tell you Nick Palmer has had recent no throws, so 1951 his first round remains his best. He's going to win it comfortably from Liam Inchok-Wolf, whose best has been 17.26 so far, and Max Abbott is lying third. As we wrap up this 4x400 mixed relay, Keeley, another miss from Joel.
Another close miss.
And the New Zealand Secondary Schools mixed relay teams separated by Mana, who have come through in second spot.
Seeing a replay there of Joel Baden's second 2:27 attempt. We're pretty lucky to have some international elite high jumpers coming over to New Zealand. Or actually, we've had a few international elite athletes in general in New Zealand in the last little bit, and coming up for the Christchurch ITM as well, which will be a really good competition. But when it's an Olympic year, you get people kind of travelling all over to try and meet the qualifier, which is exactly what Joel Baden is wanting to do to get to the Olympics this year.
Thanks for that, Brad. Still action at the high jump. Just very quickly, the result of that relay, New Zealand Secondary Schools A.
Catching up on some results there, Natalia Rankin-Chittar, another victory for her in the domestic season with a 14.92 put, good enough over the secondary schools champion Kate Halley with a 12.86, and Saskia Ryan third there at 10.65, a personal best for Saskia.
We've got Joel Baden going in for his third attempt at 2.27 meters. We've got all eyes on him in the stadium at the moment. There's nothing else going on. think except for some shot put down the other end of the circle, the other end of the field. And so Joel has been at the last 2 World Champs. He placed 10th in Eugene in 2022 in the final. So he's a really top athlete. It would have been great if we could have had a little bit of a jump off between Hamish and Joel, but Hamish did 2 competitions last week, so adding in a 3rd before heading overseas, it was just a little bit too much, and jumping definitely takes a toll on the body. So you've got to be smart at this time of year. And he's going in. Oh. He knows that he had it in him. But he's done really well with some pretty harsh conditions tonight. He's waited a really long time. The men's high jump started around 7 p.m. It's now 10 to 9, so, kudos to him for coming over and getting through the Wellington wind and rain.
Indeed, so the triple jump from earlier, Scott Thompson, 13.85 first there over Mercer Abbas, who was second to him last week in Wanganui as well, and LeBron Cosgrave had a busy night. 11.54 was his effort in the triple tonight. So Scott Thompson wins week to week in the triple jump. Medal ceremony taking place now for the 3,000 metre men's championship, with William Little taking the bronze, silver accepted by Hayden Wild, and our champion Reece Buck, none other than 2021 3,000 metre champion Sam Tanner.
It sounded like you were introducing me as a champion there, Mark, but no, excellent running there from Sam. It's really awesome, I think, for the New Zealand athletes, but also just for himself to be able to show what he's capable of in this domestic season before he heads off to Europe later in the year in preparation for Paris. An athlete that runs 3:31, to be able to see him come out here and show what he's got in the New Zealand Championships and make those other guys fight for those medals as well, which is great. We used to see it with Nick Willis coming back from the States every year to run some domestic races. And look, while Sam lives in New Zealand, it's really cool that he's able to make these domestic Grand Prix part of his build-up.
Indeed, and confirmation of the men's high jump. Joel Baden, 2 metres 20, successful over the second Australian at Roman Anastasios. And Rafe Keogh with 2:03, the 3rd place getter on countback there, as we look to Connor Brown further down, posting a personal best tonight of 1 metre 70 in some of the toughest conditions he could probably imagine. So Reece, that wraps up the 20th anniversary edition of the Team Leisure Harcourt's Capital Classic. Sam Tanner obviously providing a highlight towards the end. Josh Hawkins also outstanding, breaking his meet record over the 110 metre hurdles. And I must say, given the conditions we've had, remarkable how many meeting records have been met or bettered.
Yeah, and unfortunate we didn't get to see the pole vault field that we did have lined up, ready to go. That weather hadn't quite fined up as it did for the later events, but yeah, hopefully we'll get to see the pole vault back here competing in 2025.
The man in the middle of the shot was meet manager Olympian Tony Rogers, and I'm sure despite the conditions he's pretty happy with the performances of the athletes tonight. So on behalf of Reece Buck and Keely O'Hagan, who's provided expert commentary for us tonight, we bid you farewell from the Capital Classic and look forward to upcoming meetings, the Porritt Classic and the ITM in Christchurch. But from us here now and the team who brought you the pictures and the sounds, it's farewell, mā te wā.